never make it this far. They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitting for it, cause you all cap like. Hold up, I shoot my shot, wait, hold up. I'm really about to run this go up. You know it's all net when it go up. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand. Ay, we on overtime, you don't need to understand. Ay, you just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play the same. Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get big right. Cause it can get big right. Hey, please don't play no games with me. I promise I'm too much. Hey, I can never let up even if you had enough. Hey, this ain't for the faint of heart. We always playing rough. I had enough, it ain't luck. I needed a vision, I needed ambition, I needed a mission to beat a submission with no intermission. I see the collision, the crash in the distance, they coming off track, no. Now when they ask what's the motive, don't talk like the show. They all about to see what I mean in the moment. I gotta keep going, I'm shaking the dice and I'm keeping it rolling, they already know. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand. Ay, we on overtime, you don't need to understand. Ay, you just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play the same. Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get big right. Cause it can get big right. Cause it can get big right.
Yeah. Oh, guys, hold on a second. Looks like, you know what I mean? Hold on a second. Salute. Let's make sure everything is popping up in here correctly. Let's do this right quick. Peace to everybody who's in the building right now, man. Salute to everybody who's in the building right now. Oh, what a fight weekend we had. So much to build on. I just want to make sure my feed is coming in correct here. Let me see here, because you know how it goes. It looks like we're good, right? We're good. We're smooth. I think we were kind of freezing up a little bit, but it looks like we're good, man. We'll go with this one. We'll ride this one out. Salute to everybody who's in the building, man. What a weekend of boxing, man. I don't know if you weren't watching fights this weekend. Yeah, I would say it's questionable as to how much you love this sport. You know what I'm saying? It would be questionable at this point to say, do you really like boxing? So much boxing going on this weekend. Unfortunately, I missed the Pro Box card, so we won't be talking about any of those fights. I still got to catch that card. But Saturday was amazing. We closed it out Sunday night. I was over there at the Boxing Voice with Ness. We were covering Zuffa 2, which was a great card, by the way. If you guys didn't watch it, get on your Paramount. I'm sure they got it on some sort of on-demand or something at that point. Great fights on that card. Upset on that card. We saw Alexander Voznik get upset by Hot Rod. I don't think it was upset. I think I kind of called for Hot Rod to win that fight, but it wasn't upset definitely on the odds. And I think a lot of people were expecting the former champion and Alexander Voznik to get that victory. But great performance by both those guys. God, Jalil Hackett debuted on there, man. I thought he had a great fight against a formidable game opponent. Looks good at 160 pounds, right? Looks great at 160 pounds. So excited to see what he's going to be doing moving forward. Hold on. I'm freezing. Bear with me one moment, ladies and gentlemen. Hold the line one moment while I go ahead and tend to this real quick here. We'll be right back. Let me reset something here. I'll be right back with you, man. All right. Let's see if I came back in better. Hopefully it is better. Let's see. Oh man, we're still doing that thing, man. I don't know, man. It might just be what the internet feels like doing today. You know how moody it gets. Hopefully it stays consistent here. I don't see it freezing yet, but it is what it is. I see in here Flexing the Step and said, I just missed Bill Haney. Yeah, I saw that over at the on the box before. I see Bill Haney up there. Shout out to Bill Haney, because one thing I heard real quick as I tapped in real quick, and we're talking about I tapped in there for like 30 seconds to a minute max. Bill talking about potentially fighting Xander ZAYAS, or at least being open to doing that. I think that makes the most sense. I've been saying that. You guys, if you sitting here on the show, you know what I've been saying about him pulling up Shakur Stevenson, trying to get him out of a rehydration clause, trying to convince him to fight. Why do that? Why pull up the smaller guy, make it a big fight? Name-wise, on paper, it is a big fight, but in reality, if both fighters can't fight to where they're comfortable, if Devin can't fight in his weight class the way he wants to without a rehydration clause, if Shakur can't operate in a place where he feels like he's operating at optimal levels, or he's on an equal playing field, then the fight doesn't need to happen, right? What makes sense, though, is if Devin can't make a fight happen inside of his division at 147 pounds, that makes sense. If Rolly can't find any interest in the fight, if Lewis Crocker is going to be tied up with Liam Paro, if Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios is going to try to figure it out, and you don't know if you're going to get that Ryan Garcia fight, whatever it is, even rather than pulling up a KEYSHAWN Davis, which I'm open to seeing that fight happen, just because KEYSHAWN is willing to do the fight without a rehydration clause. Don't be scared to look up. Xander ZAYAS right now just unified the division this weekend. In my opinion, that makes him top dog at 154 pounds. I think both of them stylistically would make a great fight with each other. Why not, right? So I'm glad to hear Bill always doing what Bill always does, which is looking for the next best thing to get his son involved in. But that being said, we had a crazy weekend of fights, ladies and gentlemen. Shakur Stevenson masterclass against TEOFIMO LOPEZ. To say that I'm surprised, I'd be lying to you guys, right? You guys know my stance and where I stood on that fight. I thought that Shakur Stevenson was just a better boxer all around, but I believe the intangible in that fight is what it was, right? And I told you guys that I was concerned about the dynamic of his father and him, and how they were going to deal with the adjustments that were going to be needed to be made in order for them to be competitive in that fight. You guys saw it. You can use your own judgment, how you looked at it. I personally can tell you openly, this is a platform to where I'm going to speak frankly. It was clearly a dynamic dysfunction inside of that corner. Clearly, TEOFIMO LOPEZ may need to take some consideration as to looking as to how his training, those components are working together, and he needs to find a team that he can buy into, right? Sometimes it's not even a shot at the team. Sometimes it's just the way TEOFIMO LOPEZ is able to process and hear the information he's getting from his corner. Is he listening? Is he bought into the process to where he can dial into what they're saying and properly execute inside the ring? If he's feeling like he knows better, to where he's constantly making adjustments, to where he's looking like he's going rogue inside of the ring, then what use is the team? You're paying these guys. If these guys aren't checking the boxes for you on a personal level, then you might need to look for a replacement on the job. We'll talk about all those things, though. Shakur Stevenson now on another level of the conversation, right? He's in the money now. He's into making the big fights. You guys saw the big face-off between him and Conor Benn inside of the ring. That is, Shakur's worked his ass off to get in that position. And of course, Terrence Crawford and all the supporting cast members were there to support the young bull. He's worked hard to get there. It was great to see him with healthy hands, right, ladies and gentlemen? Healthy hands. It was good to see him with healthy hands. He didn't have any hand injuries. He was able to let his hands go, stepping to TEOFIMO at times, constantly just being 1, 2, 3 steps ahead of TEOFIMO LOPEZ. Awesome. KEYSHAWN Davis also had a great debut at 140 pounds, as well as a debut with his team, right? That was a good look for KEYSHAWN Davis. And it looks like he's on to bigger and better things. Called out Devin Haney. Hey, man, right? We're here for it all. And of course, I believe we do have a special guest who's going to be popping up today between, within the next, half an hour or so. He should be here, and we'll get to talk to hopefully Julian Rodriguez. I believe that's what, I've talked to him, his management. we should be talking today, right? And I have a lot of questions and a lot of perspective that I'm sure this community wants to get on Zuffa Boxing. On the back end of Zuffa Boxing having their event yesterday, it was a great event. We saw Jalil. These fighters are rolling out. Dana White's press conference seems very optimistic about what the future of Zuffa Boxing looks like. So I'm trying my best to get us access to these fighters, to get some ground level perspective as to what we're looking at, and so we can get some ideas on how we want to support the platform. We got a lot of those things to talk about and a bunch of other things to talk about today, of course. Guys, sit tight, hold it down, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me go ahead and say what's up to the people who are in the building right now, man. Shout out to Des215 in the building. Des215, salute to you, fam. Kazu953 in the building says ATP up 1,000, no doubt, man. Fly Frequency Maaki in the building. Hit me with the salams. Walaikum salam, rahmatullah, to my Aki, man. Flexing and stepping in the building says, my boy Clay, salute to you, fam. Salute to Dank Father in the building. What's goody, Dank Father. Blaze, pound for pound in the building. What's good, Blaze? Yeah, 4 Gutty in the building says, hello, great man. Salute to you, man. Shout out to Sylvester Salomo in the building says, is Tank Davidson getting out of prison in 2026? Is that the top question on your mind, man? I don't think he's in prison, first of all. Shout out to Tank Davis. Hope he figures it out, man. Listen, man, we all have that uphill battle we got that we're playing with on this mental health game, man. I don't take it lightly, man. I want him to figure that thing out. Obviously, I don't want him getting into domestic DV situations with women, but I hope he figures it out, man. But shout out to Tank Davis, man. Blaze Brown from outside. I think KEYSHAWN versus Devin is going to happen. Maybe. You never know. Shout out to Roger Dat in the building, man. Roger Dat. What's goody with you, family? Good to see you in the building. Hope everybody's in good spirits and good health. Mr. Lightning Boxing in the building. What's good with you, Mr. Lightning Boxing? Good to see you in the building, man. Hope you're in good health, in a good space. Grand rising to the whole room. We got Teach in the building saying Shakur is the GOAT. It would look, hey, man, I think there's an argument about it right now. I think Shakur Stevenson 100% is the most trending fighter in the game outside of an elephant that's in the room. Let's be honest. Did Big Baby Jarrell Miller steal the show on Saturday night with his situation? A lot of people talking about that as well, but shout out to Shakur Stevenson. Bruce, Gas, Boxer, Jazz, and more. 1969 in the building. Salute to the scholar. Bruce Gas Boxing in the building, man. Good to see you, man. Agent 0777 in the building, man. What's good with you, man? What's good with you? Let me see. Jeff Chancey in the building says, first time seeing you live. Looking forward to your knowledge. Hey, man, no doubt, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you, man. Thank you for being in the building, man. And of course, we won't waste another moment. I'm going to bring up the co-host today. Maybe Ray Davis might pop up. I'm assuming he's going to pop up. But my guy, you guys know him. You love to hate him or you hate to love him. I always bring him in the same damn way, but very knowledgeable, man. Take it from me. If you don't take it from nobody else, man. My guy, Angelo. No, we good. Oh man, we got our special guest in the back. He's in the hold on. Let me get this going right here real quick. Angelo was good. What's good, man?
Hey,
Did you enjoy your weekend?
Yeah, feeling good. I'm glad we're moving right on time. I also see our guy, Coach Bernard Hackett's on our chat too. We're just live today. We're live. Whenever I come on the show, Clay, there's always meaning to everything that I wear, and everybody's familiar with my liver transplant journey right now. But as you can see, sir, tweed, right? Special edition from Hearn Project right here. It's not just Tank Davis and Devin Haney to get to wear streetwear fashion, baby. So does Angelo.
You carrying it, Angelo carrying it.
I'm carrying it too.
No
But
doubt.
man, I'm excited with our special guest coming on. And like you said, we're doing everything that we can to bring these guests in our show. So everybody who listens to us, especially the casual sports fans who are really getting into the boxing world now, right? Thank you to Paramount Plus and giving us content free on Sunday boxing. But I'm excited, Clay. I'm very excited about the guest today because, as you know, we've been wanting to speak to this guy. Didn't quite work out prior to his fight. We rocked with him the whole way. There's not one of us that because you know what was funny is, remember I was telling you, I kind of feel like the odds makers don't know how make odds for boxing.
Oh, it was good money to be made. It was good money to be made for sure.
It's like, that's a Julian Rodriguez all day. So yeah, man. But anyways, if you're ready to go, I'm ready to go. Super excited.
No doubt. I'm gonna bring him right up, man, for sure, man. We won't even waste another moment, man. Julian Rodriguez in the building, man. Clap it up, man. Clap it up.
What's up, guys? What's going on?
Super excited to have you, man. Everything is good, man. Super excited to have you on here. I'm gonna be real with you, Julian. It's actually better to have you after the fight than before the fight. It's a way better look. I think, listen, man, you showed out. What an opponent you had in front of you. I mean, I would ask you if you anticipated. Is that what you expected? Or did he kind of like, was you like, damn, this dude is like up in here he really trying to, all right, well, let's do what we came to do.
We pretty much knew what we were going to be facing that night. You know, we watched a fair bit of tape, and we knew that he only kind of had one gear to him, one type of game plan. One type of game plan. So it was just about taking that away from him, taking that away his momentum. Yeah, that's it. There's a lot of ways to do that, you know.
Nah, man, you did it, man, and it was clean. You know, coming off the back end of that Sabril Matias and Dalton Smith conversation, here comes another pressure fighter dealing with a slick, but a puncher, right? Because that's the difference, right? With a lot of other fighters is that you got your hands got heat on them, you got sauce on them, right? So you're able to make the difference. But you were able to really punch him clean. A lot of good counter punching going on. He was pressing. I was kind of nervous that the judges might not get it right. I'm not going to lie to you. I clearly had you winning the fight, but I know how that body language, how it can look in the ring with some judges like that. You're on the back foot. Oh, he's getting bullied. And clearly you weren't being bullied. Were you taking that into consideration when the judges were scoring? Were you like, I hope these guys know boxing?
No, I mean, I just stuck to my plan, or what I saw was the best option in that moment. He wasn't landing anything really clean. There were times that, like, I stood too long on the ropes, but that was because he didn't hit as hard as I thought he would hit. So, like, I actually kind of stood in there a little bit, you know, too long, longer than my team wanted me to. But it was because he didn't really hit that hard, so I was able to see and gauge while I was inside and try to look for that perfect counter. But I didn't want to get caught too long in there, because then it could make it look bad, and can make it look like he's getting to me, or he can accumulate points and win the round just based off activity. I saw everything coming. He wasn't that quick. He was throwing the same consistent combination, so I knew it was like body shot, head, or coming in with the straight shots. He's gonna throw the looping right. So I was just looking for the basic tells, and but there's so many things I could have improved on. I was banking on him, like me breaking him down little by little, as opposed to, if I would have pressed the action a little more or threw more combinations as opposed to just pop shotting him, I would have been able to break him down based off of my own actions, and not just because he's missing, or because, I'll let him punch do a combination, then I'll hold him for a little bit, walk him to the middle of the ring, and then land 2 pop shots so that I win the round, and it creates a big buzz in the crowd. I was sort of playing that game, sort of like just trying to learn new things in there, bro. Like, it's so weird. Like, I'm having fun. I had a lot of fun in that fight, but moving forward, based off what I learned, and from that fight, I want to be able to improve, and realistically at 100%, that guy, I don't think would have went 6 rounds, but that's me,
right.
in my ideal version, ideal state, throwing combinations and, pushing more of the pressure. That's not really my style, to be on the back foot the entire fight. It's more so until I find a crack in the armor, or I get you with a shot clean enough where I see, oh, he's hurt, then I'll start to jump on you. But, learning lessons, and it was definitely a good fighter to, have a good showcase for Zuffa and for the first fight there. And it's good. I need those tough rounds. I need to feel that pressure so that I can be a better fighter.
Hey, Julian, first off, Angelo here. Congratulations. Yeah, congratulations, Julian, on the bonus, right? I know that you're probably never accustomed to this. Having been a coach and being a part of the UFC in the past, I'm used to that format, so I knew that you were going to get that. But when you got two of them. You got a fight of the night, and you got the best boxer of the night. Is that something to you where you weren't even thinking about it? So when you received it, you were like, "Oh wow, oh this is a nice
Yeah.
surprise." And also, I just follow that up with. And what did you end up with? What do you do with that? Like, it's kind of like, I don't want to say it's free money, but it is a whole lot of money that just came your way. And a smart person like you, I'm sure, made.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just, it definitely was a surprise. I'm in a moment of my career where I'm really, and it sounds funny, but like, I'm not really prioritizing the money right now. Like, I really just want to be the best version of myself, the best fighter, because I don't think I've ever, in my whole entire career, given like 100% towards boxing. Not to say that I was not focused, but it was more so like spreading myself thin, or playing daddy during training camp and stuff like that. And those are not, some of these things are positive things, but a positive distraction is still a distraction. So I'm in a point in my life and my career now where I'm just dedicating 100% of my life towards boxing, and I'm so happy with the results so far in terms of my mindset, in terms of obviously like my career and my potential, like where I see this year going. I've been so I feel so motivated. I'm back in the gym already. I'm in the gym right now. I just finished my workout. I was in the gym on that Monday morning.
Wow.
After the fight. And it was a tough, rugged fight, you know what I mean? But I felt good. I didn't have any injuries coming out of the fight. I wasn't overly sore. So right to the gym, no problem. I listen
Yeah.
to my body. So if my body's telling me we're good to go, then we're good to go. I'm gonna utilize that as much as possible. And as far as the money management and stuff, I have a team, that handles a lot of that stuff for me, and we game plan together. Um, there's nothing really major moves that we're making at this time because we're looking to get right back in there. So I don't need
That's awesome.
anything. I don't need anything holding up any type of my time or my focus. I think about business right now. I'm just trying to save or take care of the things I got to take care of first, and then it's right back to camp.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Can you speak on, because you said how you're right back into the gym, and we feel this excitement from you even prior to the fight. But you've talked up a lot about how the facility really helps, and how the way, I don't want to call it the UFC format because it's Zuffa now, but the way the Zuffa format gives you the nutrition and the coaches and all of the different health factors to it. Can you kind of talk us through that? Even like after the fight, I saw a picture of you and Sandoval on a gurney together, right? Which is
Oh
pretty
yeah.
awesome. That's very UFC like to me, right? I'm used to that. But kind of talk to the experience of after the fight, going through it, how Zuffa treated you the whole way, all the way till you went home.
Yeah, honestly, like I got there about 2.5 weeks before the fight to taper off my camp there, and within 2-3 days, I was pretty sure that I was gonna end up moving to Vegas because just based off the facility alone, the facility is crazy, and apparently that's a thing. Like fighters get there and they see it and they move, because it would be so just stupid to not utilize that and take advantage of the resources that are provided there for the signed fighters. Um, if you miss weight, if you are in your best shape and you've been training there, that's like totally on you because there's everything there. Like you were mentioning before, free meal preps. There's people there that are working a desk where they give you protein shakes after your workout or whatever type of drinks you want. They give you free thorn supplements, whatever you need. They do body assessments on you to check your levels to see what you're deficient in. They have multiple strength and conditioning coaches for you, multiple different types of training rooms with different elevation levels. Um, they have recovery. That's just the working out aspect. The recovery aspect. You have cold plunges. You have cryotherapy. You have red light therapy. You have these pools that have trampolines in them. So if you're coming back from an ankle injury or you have a knee injury or something where it limits your capabilities as far as running or impact on the knees or ankles, you run and you do all that stuff in that pool. With the, I think Connor used it when he was on the comeback from when he was coming back from when he hurt his ankle against Poirier.
Against
Um,
Poirier, yeah.
Physical therapy, anytime you need something done, you book a time slot and they're there to help you, whatever you need. I have some problem with my back, you go, boom, leg, knee, whatever you need, they got it. They have a mental health room where you lay in a pod that vibrates at a certain frequency and plays certain type of music with certain lights around. You know, it's just all around the board. Like, it's whatever you think you need for yourself, they have it. So, you know,
It seemed like they're giving you things you weren't even aware you needed all the way, but you're like, oh, this is useful. I never thought of
yeah,
this. You know
yeah,
what I
and it's
mean?
it's a problem really getting all those things aligned or being able to utilize all those things uh, when I'm back home, when I got to go here, I got to travel 40 minutes for this to do this. Okay, now I got to go over here to get this massage. Oh, crap, I got to pick up my kids, though. Oh, I have to pick up my meal preps now in this town. Like, it's just a problem. You know what I mean? It's just, after seeing what they have to offer, I don't need to deal with that anymore. I could just go under one roof and I deal with the amazing staff over there. Forrest Griffin is like the head of staff, and it's cool to see him and pick his brain about his career and
Right.
fighting in general. Also, the atmosphere, the people that are there, it's all big names in there. So you don't have a like you're at a college campus and everyone is here on the same path. No one gives you a feeling that they're bigger than you or lesser than you. They treat you the same. And there's big names in there as far as UFC and fighters are coming in now, but it's just the atmosphere. You don't The strip is right down the block, but me being there, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. You
Right.
have
Right.
like-minded fighters there. I'm eating healthy food and I'm seeing the results, which makes me want to eat it, and stick to it because like
Right.
I'm eating it and I look around and so are all these world champions eating it. So I know I'm doing the right thing.
Right.
And
Right.
That's awesome. Like Julian, I mean, because I'm gonna dial it back a little bit, even going back to the Kane Sandoval fight just a little bit. Just the way you seem to have walked away from that fight with so much experience, it seemed like it's priceless almost. Like you can't put a price on the experience you had of those 12 rounds. You're improving in so many ways now based off that fight. Like, you know what, I need to close up some holes in my game. And you talk about how you didn't dedicate to the sport 100%, not just for bad reasons. Some people might want to say bad reasons, but you included the good reasons. You said, but is that because you had to be a little bit more diversified just to sustain as far as financially and as far as being a businessman and being responsible for yourself? Does the consistent activity that Zuffa is providing you kind of give you some peace of mind and make you a little bit more content with focusing 100% towards your career now, to whereas maybe before you had to kind of be a multitask type of individual to handle your career as well as your personal life that you had to make sure was going the right way. Does that make sense?
yeah, definitely. Just being under a promotional company itself, like when I was, and it depends on who you have negotiating your contracts for you. I have a very strong management team. My lead manager is Dmitry Popov. He handles all the contractual work, along with Jamal, who's an attorney that we use, Mero. And yeah, they're very strong in terms of what they negotiate for me. But in the past, you negotiate maybe 3-4 fights a year, and sometimes the company holds you to that, no matter if you knock the guy out or if you feel okay or not. And especially as you get bigger purses and you're at a bigger place in your career, now they got to shell out these bigger payments. So typically, companies want to keep you just fed enough so that you don't have too much power or you don't get ahead of yourself with certain things, but it's very strategic sometimes. Whereas I don't feel that that's the case with Zuffa. Like, we're right back in the gym. I think Dimitri's negotiating another fight for me even sooner than what we thought, because I feel so good and I want to just get right back in there. Um, but yeah, I mean, as far as uh, yeah, I've been on both sides, man. there were times where I didn't have a promoter and I was kind of winging it because I was 20 something and one. So I feel like, all right, cool. Like I have a big enough name to kind of get on whatever card I want. But there is no place like having a home in boxing as far as a promoter, because they, I'm fortunate enough that the company wants to build me and work with me as opposed to just like throw me into these fights that are, that are just with no plan, you know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
good
no
that they want
purpose.
to build and they want to help the brand as far as me. Whereas, again, other companies will try to plug you in and be like, yeah, all right, cool. With no promotion and no type of like, what happens after this? Okay, what does this lead to? So that's always good. Um, yeah, I think that I'm in a great place right now. I feel very secure with them and their guidance and how well they've been just dealing with me so far. I think it's been great.
Hey, Julian, that's awesome that you said that, because when in our show here at ATP Combat Media, me and Clay, we're always talking about how it's important for, especially in the USA, in the United States, for the casual sports fan base to get to know people like a Julian Rodriguez. And here you are, you make your debut on Paramount Plus. That weekend, that Paramount Plus went to over 7 million households, right? Which is insane. Okay,
I didn't even know that number.
and then they have 112 million subscribers just for the WWE YouTube alone. And as you know, your highlights are flashing all over the
They're
place
going crazy
right
bro.
now. They're going crazy. You're flamboyant. You talk a lot. So when we speak about you on the show, which by the way, again, we predicted that you would totally beat Sandoval. And I'll tell you, it's honestly, it's because you have the experience. You understood what your ups and downs were, and it's no knock on Sandoval, and it's great that he has a legendary trainer and Coach Freddie Roach, but he's young, man.
Yeah.
You're a youngster coming up, and I even felt that from you when you were talking
Facts.
about it in the press conference. You were like, bro, I don't need to.
Exactly. I remember that moment when you kind of look at him like, man, this guy's got you a little spunky guy, bro. You're a little spunky guy. You got a lot of you just saw that look on your face where you like, you just ain't been on this stage before. It's gonna be interesting to see this play out.
I felt a lot of nervous energy on that stage. So I said, okay, I see you, bro. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to pump yourself up. This is your first time on this level like this. You're he was talking a little quicker than normal, usual. So I'm like, you're trying too hard, brother. There's a reason for that. And I've been on this earth a lot longer than you, and I know what that reason is.
Played out. That experience, you were like, I've seen this before. Interesting. Let's see. Yeah. We'll see what happens Saturday, man. Mozzie, I said Mozzie. Shout out to Mozzie, by the way. Miss Van Houter in the building. You know Mozzie Van Houter. His mom is in the building. I just looked at her and I called you his name. Shout out to Mozzie, though. He did a great job yesterday. Hopefully we can get him up here as well. But you gotta let us know, man. Tap into this relationship with Dana White as far as the business is concerned. How are you? I looked at an old interview you did. Shout out to Frankie Edgar, man, UFC legend. I seen you on his podcast about a year ago, and you spoke about how when you grew up and you talked about the process of getting into boxing, that you actually started off as a WWE fan, as a young kid. That was your thing, right? And how hilarious it is that it comes full circle that, the owner of the WWE, that talk about destiny, whatever you have, the universe never makes a mistake, right? Everything happens right on time. But that being said, how is it now working with this huge positive relationship? Is it personal? Because it seems like such a big thing going on with the Paramount deal. Have you had an opportunity to communicate with Dana? Have you had an opportunity to kind of meet up with these people, and how's that experience been?
Well, we spoke briefly after the fight. And I was with my son. Apparently he took a picture with my son earlier. And then after the fight, when I brought my son to meet him, he was like, "Oh, this is your son? I was taking pictures with him before," So we all, we were talking. And then that's when he was telling me, listen, this is a mandatory thing, but I care about my fighters. There hasn't been one death under the UFC banner, and I'm proud of that, and I take pride in that. I care about my fighters. So, listen, that was a hell of a performance tonight. You did great. But I do need you to get checked out. So he sent me, and I guess all the fighters, to the hospital to get a, CAT scan. Yeah, so he did that. As far as, and then I asked him, you know, my little guy and I are big UFC fans. And he's like, no problem. We got you tickets for tomorrow. So typically, and it was a big card. It was a good card. We wanted to support Sean O'Malley, Umar
Right.
Nurmagomedov. We were training with Umar and the camp for my fight. Like we were in the same facility. So I wanted to see his fight. And I respect his mindset. Those Russians over there, they don't play around, man. So, so yeah, you know, I'm here thinking that like, you know, every time I've ever been given boxing tickets from a company, it's been, you know, they give you good seats and stuff, but it's not no first, second row.
Right.
But this show, man, me and my son Jaden walked in there like we were with Dana White himself, brother. It was crazy. Right in the
That's
second
awesome.
row, I'm sitting right behind Islam Makachev and Habib. I'm sitting right next to these guys, next to Amanda Nunes. I'm like, yo, what is going on here? There's
Right.
cameras all over the place. My son, my goodness, he's the coolest kid around, man.
Hey, Julian, that's so awesome that you're saying that, because I remember I took my son front row for UFC 200 or 300. I'm sorry, when it came out, and I almost wonder, like when you took your son, this is going to be a father-son question. When he was with you in the UFC event, did he realize that he was literally sitting right next to the current pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, the former pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, and possibly in Amanda Nunes, certainly the greatest female fighter of all time for the UFC, but might actually be maybe even one of the greatest, top 5 of all time, male or female? Or is your son just like, hey, Dad, I don't know, or, you know, what was that like? What was that like?
No, he definitely realized, but it was because he saw his dad fangirling in private, and I never do that. I never do that.
Compose yourself, Julian. Compose yourself.
We went upstairs to the bathroom, and I was like, oh, Jaden, I don't really do this, but, you know, that was Khabib. I was watching him all camp. You know, we got to go to Dagestan. Come on, 2-3 years. We got to do this. You know.
Awkward.
So then he was like, oh, what's going on? That, you know, nah, but, you know, honestly, he was getting it, man, because he was around for the end of the camp, staying with me in the camp house and stuff. And I watch a lot of film on these guys, and I watch their stories, and I watch where they come from, their values, and I study their morals and things like that. And I try to implement those type of things that I resonate with, at least, into my lifestyle. You know, and so he's around for a lot of that, and I make sure he is, because
That's awesome.
These days, these kids, they learn a lot from that iPad, and it's a little scary sometimes. So I make sure, and also I make sure that when I'm going through this major life change with whatever I'm doing in my life, that he's a part of it to see it. I want him to remember these things and remember the things that I had to go through for, God willing, the rewards that I'm going to pass on to him, or a safe, secure lifestyle, you know. So I want him to be a part of that. I want him to see the struggle, see the hard times, see the weight cuts, see the times where, you know, he's with me riding to the press conference, and then he goes and sees on a big screen me and this guy face to face, and then right away I'm back in the car with him on the way home, like, and he's seeing what I'm thinking, what I'm going through, the shit I'm talking about, how, like, there's just the energy you need to have for this. And I think I think it's very impactful for him. And there are things that he doesn't understand now, you know, or he doesn't perceive it as like cool yet. But it's in there. I'm planting the seeds, and I'm allowing, I just want him to see it and be there to witness it, because I know that when he's raising his children, it'll be a lot of good lessons in the things that he's experienced. So that's all I really care about. That's literally all I care about in like my life. I don't give a shit about anything else. I just want to have like kids that have kids, and I want to like keep that going and like build my name, you know what I mean? My family name, and leave things on to my children. And however way, it doesn't even have to be this boxing stuff. You know, so like that's why I say I really only care about like my bloodline and procreating and making sure I have kids that actually do stuff in this world that we're in, you know.
That's
Monty,
amazing.
I mean, well, not Monty. Julian, let me ask you. I keep saying that because I'm looking in the chat and
Stop
people
looking at the
about
chat, Clay.
No, I can't help it, man. I can't help it, man. listen, man, you're a person who has a lot of swag. I mean, I'm hearing rumors like you sing or something, like you have some sort of like a career, like music career that you kind of do as well,
Yeah,
or
I'm produce music. I've been doing music since I'm 12 years old. I sing, I do rapping stuff, whatever. That's why I say I
Mhm.
produce, because I also make beats, but my strongest suit is songwriting. So as a
Right,
songwriter, I can
Oh,
adapt to, I can make a country song, I could do R&B, I can
right,
do whatever. But that was, one of the things that I
the
used to
distractions.
spread. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I
and
was
like I
gonna.
love it, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, but
that's awesome. No, that's
and it's
awesome.
definitely something that could be marketed or whatever. But I really, that was one of the things that I could just think of off the top that takes away my time, you know?
Yeah, but so Julian, right? And the reason I asked it, and I'm glad you picked up on that, and that's why I was like, okay, boom, he's kind of right on the same page as me. But in this Zuffa production, that mic is there still, right? And there's still this part of the game that you bring. There's an intangible that you bring, which is that you are very good on the mic. And when I think about the Conor McGregors, and I think about, I don't want to go into The Rock, but I will say that just because you're a WWE fan, do you think that's going to be something that you can that's going to translate well for you under this promotional company? Are you going to be able to build that kind of personality? You know what I'm saying? To get that relationship with the fans and build that fan base up to get used to you being this outspoken person.
Yeah, absolutely. I just don't think it stems from the music aspect. This right now, like the things you hear me say or whatever, that's not even like strategy. It's I just say what I feel. I'm a very passionate person. That's where it stems from passion. I'm a very
Yes, sir.
passionate person. So when I do music, I do it well because I get it from the passion side. When I write lyrics, I'm passionate about what I'm writing about. So then it translates and it sounds like something you went through last week. You know what I mean? Like I can
Mm.
relate to people. So that's where I have the hook. Now, as far as me like shit talking on a stage or trying to build a fight or whatever, I just say what I feel,
Mm.
and I let things roll that way. If so, the whole thing with the Avius thing, I said what I felt on that stage, and I knew what I felt. You could see it in my face. That's why it
Right.
was real. That's why you could feel it. That's why you don't look at it like a gimmick. There's a lot of clowns out there that will think that they just got to be loud and that's the secret, or that they just have to wear some cool stuff and then be like super arrogant. Like that's not gonna work for you, my man. Like you gotta be real. You have to connect with the people. You gotta your presence has to be felt.
Right.
And so I literally just do what I feel. You know what I mean? That's why I wasn't so like aggressive or arrogant or
Mhm.
with the guy Kane, because I knew he was trying so hard. So I was like, ooh, I see you now. And it
Read the
became
room.
more of like silent intimidation at that point. Like in the weigh-ins in private, I'm looking, he knew what he was getting into at that point, That notice
Right.
that press conference was the last time he was really vocal about something. Every
Yep.
every other time he's seen me, it was more about like I could just tell. I could just tell when I see somebody in their eyes what type of
Right.
energy they're bringing or what they're feeling, because I'm a fighter too. I know. And I feel all the things. I'm not egotistical enough to say like that I'm hiding an emotion or, oh, I'll never say this on the mic or I'll never tell them I was feeling this. I say all of it. And there's nothing for me to hide because it don't matter. It don't matter what I say. I'm going in there and I'm gonna hit you. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give it my all. This is my kids are riding on this. It don't matter what you think you have on me or you want to talk shit about something you thought you heard, or you're trying to tell me I'm not gangster, or you're trying to tell me I'm not tough or what. That shit don't matter because I know
Right.
I'm good enough to hurt you and I'm gonna hurt you
Right.
in the ring.
This
And I'm
boxing
that's
match is going to play out because I'm a great fighter, and that's
right,
Right.
right, right.
nothing you say is going to erase that reality. It's not going to change
Yeah.
that into something else. I got one last question. By the way, shout out to
Yes,
everybody in the
sir.
building. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We got Julian Rodriguez, Mr. Hammerhands himself in the building, man.
I also got a good funny story for you guys
Uh,
before I leave.
Oh, we want to
okay.
hear
And
it. No,
it's a
no, we
Wait,
want
very
wait.
to hear it.
wholesome story. It's a
Yeah.
very wholesome story, but I'll let
I
Yeah,
got
let
one
me
more question too. So
wait.
I'll
okay.
let Clay go first. Yeah.
Real quick here, the people in the space are talking about they love the product, they love what they're seeing, but they're questioning the uniform. They're saying that you know, as a fighter, it kind of stifles, or it kind of, you know, smothers your ability to create, right? Like, a lot of fighters put a lot into their outfits, right? Into their shorts, into their gloves, I don't know, intro music, all these different little intangibles that make that's part of the entertainment. How do you feel about that? Are you concerned about that? Is there freedoms that we're not aware of? Is it a strict uniform? Like, what kind of, like, you know,
Yeah.
freedom you have?
So there are limitations as far as the you know, the clothing aspect of things. I guess they're trying to like follow the UFC format with that, where it's their specific sponsors, and you know, they sponsor all fighters, I guess, once you're signed with them, so you got to rep the company. Or also they don't want the fighters to get sponsors that kind of are the competitors of their sponsors, like my promotional company, you know. So if my promotional company is Monster Energy, but I'm promoting another energy drink brand, it kind of clashes, you know what I mean? So on the business
Right.
sense, I understand it. From a fighter's point of view, I do not care at all about it, because it's easier for me. I get to save some money, and not spending thousands on a new fight outfit, you know, with a bunch of sparkles and shit everywhere. I don't care about that, you know. Also, uh, you know, okay, if it limits your creativity or your ability to market yourself, find another way. Maybe go harder in the fight, go harder on the microphone afterwards, be someone that, you know, that exceeds that, I guess, you know. But I do hear the people. You know, it is what it is. I just, as a fighter, I don't really care to think about it. It's not really, it's not something that I would even tell Dimitri, my manager, to like, hey, see if
Right.
we can do something about, like, I don't really care. As long as I'm protected as far as wearing the type of gauze I need to wear, you know, things like that. Uh, Whatever else. I mean, I'm allowed to wear my whole mouthpiece. You know what I mean? Cool.
Right.
That's it. That's all I
Right.
need.
Right.
I hear something brewing about the gloves, you know, but we'll get there when we get there.
I was literally about to ask about the
Okay.
gloves. I was going to ask
Yeah,
about the gloves
I
as
do
well,
see
but
people wearing the Zuffa gloves, but here's the thing, with the backing behind and the funding behind this company, I'm sure that if we were forced to wear Zuffa gloves moving forward, that they would be made and created by a reputable person that,
yeah,
you
Right.
know,
whether it's Reyes,
that
whether it's
you
Grant,
can
like, or
Right.
trust. You
Venom,
can
right?
trust, yeah, that, and I feel like there would be a selection to choose from that fits your hand specifically. They're not just gonna, you know,
Cookie cutter it.
there's a,
Right.
right. There's a lot of people that have hand problems in this game. I am not one of them, but I'd like to keep it that way. And, you know, especially with these fights I'm most likely going to have, where I'm going to have to let these hands go and you
Mm.
know, throw. Yeah, I got to protect myself.
Hey, Julian. So my question is, you know, all the packages they're running with you now, and you're being seen on a massive audience stage, right? So they're giving you the opportunity to have this stage to show the star that you know you've always been, and you felt you've always been. Now you're also in a league, as we know, like in the UFC, where there are no choices for opponents. You fight who you fight. So this is more of a question for you and maybe your entire team. When they send you the names, are they sending you like 4 names and you're the type of person who's just like, I don't care what name it is, bro, just give me the date? Or are you guys like really pre-planning each stage of how you want to get to that Zuffa boxing championship? Because you've already said you want to be the first.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm at this point, I'm pretty high on the rankings. If I'm not mistaken, I'm number one. Um, but yeah, we're trying to get to the title. So, and we're at a place now where, like, all right, we need things to make sense. Again, not really on, not so much about the money, because like I'm happy with the money where it's at. Um, but more so like we need some clear direction, and we need to know what this fight is going to get us. Is this going to get us the Zuffa World title? Is this going to get us on a show in Riyadh? Is this going to, you know, that's where, you know, I'm trying to excel. I want to progress, move forward in my career. So like, if I focus on that, I know the money will come. That's why I'm not worried about it. But Yeah, there's far more important things for me to work on other than like filling my bank account. So like, getting my mindset even on a stronger level, working more on aspects of my game that I right away after the fight I had a talk with everybody, and they had talks with me, and it's just a great conversation about things to improve for the next time around, things I've learned, things I could have did way better. Um, Things like that. And I'm so interested in like working on those things more so than like the money aspect of like that night or whatever. So like that's how I know I'm in a healthy mindset. I'm in a healthy space. I have a great team behind me, great family members around me that are keeping me grounded and making sure that my eye is on the real prize, and that's actually progressing, not only as a fighter but as a man, as a father, and that's like it's pretty much what I'm on right now.
Well,
No doubt, no doubt.
Julian, you are certainly a star, man, and I'm so glad so many households, millions, are getting a chance to see you now. Tell us the story you want to tell us.
Yeah, I want to know
Before
about
we
this
go.
story,
Yeah.
man, for sure.
Okay, so
Mike, you do your thing, man.
like I said, we're now this is after the fight. I'm with my team, and we're waiting. I'm antsy. I don't feel any pain. So I'm like, man, I want to go see my family. I want to go out to eat with them. But this is mandatory rules. This is what Dana said, and if Dana's writing his name on my checks, I got to listen to the boss. So you know, we got to get the CAT scan, make sure everything is right, and everything's going smooth. Now we did everything, and now I was told that I was going to be in and out. So like, they were, within 30 to 45 minutes. So once I'm done with all my tests, now they're trying to get in touch with a doctor to sign off on my results so that I can finally leave. But he's not answering the text message. So they roll me into a room, right? And they roll me into a room, and then they put a sheet covering my half of my side of the room. And my whole family's there, whatever, we're talking. And all of a sudden, I'm like getting text messages from people, because by that time, Dana had said on the podium that I had gotten the bonus. So when I'm sitting there and I'm getting this text, my uncle Donnie texted me, and he goes, "Oh, congratulations on performance of the night." It's actually my mother's uncle Donnie. I call him my uncle Donnie all the time, but he's like, "Congratulations, you got the you got the performance bonus. I knew you had it in you or whatever." So I'm like, huh. I was like, "Yo, I think we got the performance bonus." Yes. And when I said that, I'm looking at like, my manager, but I hear, "Oh shit, did we?" And it was Kane right next to me in the room on the other side of the sheet. So I was like, "Whoa." And he was like, "Did we get the bonus?" And I realized there was Kane in there. And I was like, "Oh shit. This is like a Toro Gotti Mickey Ward story. We
Right.
got the same story."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and and right away I thought of the Gotti Ward analogy, that whole
Yeah,
reference.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Bro, we got to take a picture, bro. Our grandkids are gonna have this on the fucking wall of our houses when they're older, bro. Come on, this is for our family." And what a
Right.
great guy, and much respect to him. And his manager was a very great guy too, Oscar. Very professional, and
Right.
and with that mindset, that kid could do anything, bro. He's 23 years old. He has a whole future in front of him, a good team around him, a lot of purpose in life to go the right way. Um, you know, I do think he'll be better, much of a better force at 135.
Mm.
Honestly, humbly, in
Right.
my opinion.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, nonetheless, man, said a lot of kind things to me, to my son. My son was there in the
Mm.
hospital with me, so it was a really cool, wholesome moment between two fighters in front of my son. For him to
Mm.
see and to know how people can, how it's not what it may be out to be on that social media stuff or throughout the press conference and things like that. He's able to see us go to war with each other. We're all busted up, and then we talk in private, and the things that we're talking about, about love and family and children and good luck, brother. I hope you succeed in this life, like things like that. That's where the lessons are made for kids, you know. So
No
it was
doubt,
really
no
Wow.
good
doubt.
for me to do that for my son, to have him there, him to see firsthand. It's like a movie scene, you know. Like this is,
Right.
You
you
can't
know,
make
it's
this
like,
up, right? Like
yeah,
you had to
yeah,
take
yeah.
advantage of the moment because it's so organic. Do you guys, Mick and Arturo had that relationship, what I'm saying, going forward? Like, I mean, when you guys go through when guys go through what Mick and Arturo went through, just like what you and Sando, that kind of changes the dynamic of the relationship, right? The respect that
Of
you have
course,
for
yeah.
each other, right? You guys
I I
keep in
I
contact at this
even
point, or
I even have this way of viewing people or boxers in general since I'm way younger too, because I always thought of like, yeah, well, when we retire, like we don't gotta like hate each other. Like I think by that time we would, again, these are the same people we're seeing multiple times in the year. Like I'm talking about growing up and going to national tournaments. Sometimes we're
Mm,
on the same team. We gotta stay
mm,
in the same hotel room. It's things
mm-hmm.
like that multiple times a year. Like we all have to take a break of our personal lives at school and then go to this remote location like Kansas City. You know,
Mm-hmm.
where there's nothing to do and we're all stuck in the same hotel room for like a week. You know,
Mhm.
there's a lot of relationships there, where you're running around with a bunch of kids, you're meeting kids from Cali, you're meeting kids from Washington D.C. You're also understanding different ways of living. Uh, they act differently than New York people, and or maybe it's just learning their slang. It could be something so minuscule like that, where it's just learning the way they talk or how they whatever. Or Southern fighters, they have a different hospitality to them. The women, we're
Right,
different. It's just learning about life through different experiences and people. And
no doubt.
I take so much from that. So like those people that I've seen tons of big names over the years, over and over. Javante Davis multiple times, Joette Gonzalez, you had Manny Robles, you had
Mm,
a lot of people from the Headbangers team. So you had like
Mhm.
Lamont Peterson, the Peterson brothers, um, Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, all the Gary Russells. Like the list goes on, of how many people I've seen, growing up. And it's like, yo, I was here to witness your story too.
mm,
You were here. That's part of my story. I learned so much just through my experience, and you were involved in that at these
Right,
tournaments. I see you working. I see how you reacted to losses. I see how, like, for example, Gervonta Davis, he was an emotional guy. At that age, no one likes to lose, but he never liked to lose. So if
right,
mm,
someone was getting to him in the ring or putting pressure on him, he would kind of like give up mentally, maybe start doing something illegal, or
mm,
maybe
right,
he'll like start falling on the floor and causing breaks in the fight, or being rude to the referee and shoving the referee. And he would lose, or maybe he got disqualified one year, I forget, but he lost. And because he didn't show a professional way to carry himself, or good character, Calvin made him go up on the ring, fights later, like I would say about an hour later, and request the microphone to apologize to the crowd.
mm,
mm,
And
mm.
he apologized to the staff, and he was very respectful. And I just remember that like it was yesterday. And there's so many lessons to pull from that. Also to
wow,
see the dynamic and to see how much of an influence that Calvin had on a street dude like Javante.
right,
Hmm.
And,
Hmm.
and to know that the chemistry between them is so tight, and that's why they have that bond. It's just a good story for boxing. It's a good story for me. It's like I read a book that no one else has read. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's my story.
nobody has
So
access to yet because you ain't
Right.
yeah,
dropped the
so
book
like
yet. But yeah,
I respect these lessons. So like when I already see other fighters I grew up with, like Kenneth Sims and stuff. I fought him twice, and other people might be like, oh, well, he beat you twice, or he's this, he's that. We got to get that back. Cool, cool, yeah, no problem.
right,
This is real life for me.
Right.
This is real life,
Right.
and like,
yes
yo,
sir,
Kenneth,
yes sir.
Kenneth, thank you for those amazing moments, bro. It ain't about wins and losses when we're 50 years old and we got kids, bro. Especially amateur boxing. Who gives a fuck about that? It's
Right.
about the lessons. It's about that I was able to have a dance partner like you, bro. Thank you for those memories, and my kids will always remember you too, because you were a big part of my life.
Right.
So that's the
Awesome.
type of stuff that's important for me. You know what I mean? So
Well,
That's
Julian,
very nice.
you certainly graced us with so much of your time and given us
Yeah, I know
your
Dimitri's
story
like,
with your
play
story.
more. I told you 30 minutes.
Well, I don't think we're
Fingers
gonna
in
get
the
trouble.
hand.
I
I'm
don't
running
think we'll
late
get in
right now,
trouble.
but it was a good conversation, man. It's all good. I appreciate these conversations
Julian,
for sure.
Yeah, no, we just want to say you are definitely a superstar to so many people. I'm glad everybody's getting a chance to watch you now. And I know you love writing, so consider writing your own book now, young man, because you got a hell of a story to tell.
I know. You beat me to it. It's something that I've been thinking about and saying in a jokingly manner. Like, I can't wait to write my book when I'm 60 years old, but I don't know, man. I might have to break it up a little bit, you know?
Hey, they say every great man, every man in life should look to leave a book behind. You know what I'm saying? Leave some legacy, leave some journalism, some journals of their movements and their experiences that can affect another generation to kind of learn from it. So yeah, I think we all kind of almost have a responsibility to do it in our own way. Be looking forward to your book, but more importantly, I'll be looking forward to your next fight, man. I can't wait to hear the announcement for sure, man.
Thank you, brother.
It was great
Thank
having
you,
you up
guys.
here today, man.
Anytime you guys
Hopefully
want,
we can have you up here more
let me
often,
know,
by the way.
bro. I really enjoy these conversations, man. So let me know, man.
Thank you, Julian. I'm going to reach out to you on Instagram. Thank you, Julian.
All right, you got it. Thank you guys for your
Peace,
time.
Man. Julian Rodriguez. Man, he just shares so much. What a great interview, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, first of all, again, thank you to his manager. And you know, we got to go with the flow of the fighter, right? And we always want to feel that you're welcome here. You're invited to share what you share. So thank you for gracing us with so much of your time. But I mean it, man. What a superstar, dude. I mean, ranked number 1 already at the welterweight division. He tells us that story with him and Kane Sandoval. He's even willing to help the young man. And it's funny, Clay, because we had that private conversation the other day about what I think Teofimo really should do. Should he want to continue with his career? And what did I tell you about what UFC is like, right? What it's like to train over there. I said, us martial artists, bro, it's different. Like there's the people bow, like there's no real huge egos. Nobody's trying to push anyone down because we got our own journey, bro. Like we're not trying to mess with your journey. We're trying to deal with our journey. And I it's really great to hear Julian's journey, and we'll have him back on for sure. We'll definitely
for sure. And you know, he even Jalil Hackett talked about that, right? About how, you know, that fraternity, you know what I'm saying, of fighters and how they deal with each other. And the reality of the situation is that they put so much pain and blood and so much skin vested into this career that started a long time ago, that, you know, there is always going to be that kind of respect amongst warriors, you know what I mean, gladiators that understand that, man. We can share all that animosity when we get in the ring, right? We can make it all about that. But outside of that, we know the truth of the matter. I think I got Bernard in the back as well.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I don't know if he's ready to come up or not.
Yeah, no.
Let me bring up Ray right now. Ray, what's good?
Ray Davis is in the house. Ray Davis, everybody.
Ray, you're definitely muted, by the way. You're definitely muted. Oh, and it looks like Bernard's ready.
Yeah.
Bernard, what's good, Bernard?
Hey, what's going on, good brothers? How y'all doing?
Thank you. What's going on, Coach? Congratulations, sir. I love it. I love the
fight this weekend, man. El Negro Mexicano was inside of the ring this weekend, headlining the prelims on that Zuffa card, man. I'm assuming that you're at the airport making your way back. Congratulations to him. By the way, he looked great. Man, I know he was happy. He had an opponent that was game and wanted to fight him, and he was loving that like a pig in slop, right? He was like, oh yeah, let's get it in. What a difference.
Like I told y'all, he was gonna get a chance to be versatile.
Yeah, and what a difference. 160 pounds, he just looks good. You know what I'm saying? He looked good at one. What did you think about him? What did you think about him at 160 and about the fight?
I think it was a good fight. I think him at 160 is a good look for him. I think he feels physically better, more physically comfortable. And the more he fights as a 60, the more comfortable he'll feel. I think he had the perfect opponent, somebody who was mentally aimed on winning. He had a quality record. The only loss he had was to Andres Katarakis, who was a quality fighter. And because of that, he got to show his versatility. You got to see him be the hard, banging guy that he loves to be, but then also display boxing.
No
Hey,
doubt,
Coach.
no doubt.
Hey, Coach. Angelo here, and I know your flight leaves at 1:30. We want to thank you for just doing a quick stop by while you're in the airport on your way back to DC. I wanted to let you know that when we were watching the fight with Jaleel, it was me and my wife watching it, right? And we were paying attention to you actually, and your coaching, right? And we because again, you know, Bernard, like I used to do it prior to the liver transplant, so we're always kind of like analyzing it, and absolutely love the father-son coach a fighter relationship that you two had. There was a moment though, and I wanted to get it from your side, where Jaleel could have finished this opponent, but you were very adamant with him and talking to him about, hey son, I want you to show your boxing skills, right? Like I want you to use the jab and box back. And I was trying to explain to her that, in my opinion, I thought you were trying to play the long game. You're trying to get your son ready for that world championship fight and not necessarily just winning this fight. Can you kind of bring us to that moment?
Yeah, he did a lot of stuff he wanted to do. He boxed, but we made an agreement. You can pressure in the beginning like you like to fight. You tell me the round that you're going to go for the knockout. If you don't get the knockout, then you got to do it my way. And he tried to get the knockout in the 4th round. And when he hurt him, he went for it. The guy made it through the 4th round. Then it's like, we got to do it my way. Let's box. Let's show people that you can box. But more importantly, put the rounds in the bag. And as we went through it, I was so surprised when I saw what the commentator's scorecard was. And his scorecard was reflective of the way we train. Win the first 6. We're gonna box rounds 6 and 7, recatch your win, so get on the dance. Win 8 and 9, and then let's cruise home on 10. And it played the exact way that we played it out. I think just the reason we've had the way we were doing before, because either we had to lose a lot of weight, so I couldn't go against Jaleel and let's go get him, or Jaleel got you knocked out before my portion came into play. But if you go back and look at the Pete Dobson fight, we did the same thing. Put the first 6 rounds in the bag, relax on 7 and 8, win round 9, and then close out with 10. But in this one, it was win round 1 through 5. Then we rest 6 and 7 because you went for the knockout. And then we win round 8 and 9, and then we cruised it in on 10. If you listen to round 10, I say, hey, son, don't get wild. Stay behind your boxing. And I'll tell you when you can cut loose. Wait until the last 30 seconds and say, now you can cut loose. So nice. He stuck to the script 100%.
Love it. Coach, I had a question. And listen, brilliant
Ray
fight,
Davis,
by the way.
If you haven't met him yet.
Yeah, we met. Absolutely, we met. And Coach, I'm sorry I missed the last interview. I was on the first one when you came up. I love the fight, right? And I'm going to ask you a question. When I watched him fight at 147, he was skillful, slick, with all had the intangibles. Watched him at 54, looked like it was a little bit like more of him being a solid guy adjusting to the weight. 160 looks like he put it all together. When I tell you he looked like the most athletic fighter I've ever seen of him in that division and very comfortable, man, if he didn't look like the best throwback fighter I've seen in a long time in that middleweight division, salute to you guys for doing that. What was he feeling like in that fight?
It was completeness. We had our complete team, Coach Kenny, Coach Pat, myself. Jaleel was on point. We didn't have to go through the hard weight cuts. You all saw him at the weigh-in. He didn't look like it was a hard weight cut. You saw him at the fights. He looked like he rehydrated real well. That's what this needs. And like I said, we get 3-4 fights to me. If 2026 is the year that Zuffa establishes hierarchy, we're going to take this year to take the fights that they give us, and we're going to establish that we are the future of the middleweight division, no matter how Zuffa plans it, how Riyadh, or whatever they put forth to us. We want to make sure that we're prepared for it. But that's what I love about it.
Nice.
Awesome.
That's awesome, Coach. That's awesome. And again, please just let us know when it is that they're saying, hey, I'm boarding now, because I know that the flight, I believe, leaves at 1:30. So, but again, we appreciate you just doing a quick stop by. Coach, did you kind of find a nice little smile on your face when Max Kellerman kind of got Jaleel? Because my wife absolutely, I texted you right away. I said, my wife loves your son, because your son did the whole, I'm trying to give the fans what they want. I'm trying.
Yeah, then Max called him out, and it was like,
And then Max goes, is it the fans or is it you, Jaleel? And Jaleel said, all right, you got me.
Oh, yeah, y'all know it's him. Y'all know that's Jaleel. He just want to fight. I've never seen a person that just want to fight everybody. It's never like, hey, this is one where I can get the rounds in. Everything is a dog fight to him. So to me, I got to give him kudos, because he took it away from the dog fight for a quick moment and said, hey, let's show these people that have a boxing IQ.
Yeah. Tell him that's why Terrence is on your ass, man. That's why he's always trying, you know what I'm saying? Because he know you think you bad. He know you think you bad, bro.
Yeah, man, he think he could beat everybody. You leave it to him. If he ain't had to cut weight, he'd be a light heavyweight. I can just walk around as myself.
Yeah. That's what's
all right,
up.
Coach.
Hey, Coach,
I appreciate
thank you,
man.
so much for coming in. We're going to bring you on. I'll call you. We'll probably have you on our Thursday show, Coach, if that works out for you and Jaleel, and then we'll get a chance to talk about the whole experience.
Sounds great, fellas. Have a great one.
You too. Peace, Coach.
Bye.
Shout out to Zuffa, man. Shout out to Zuffa. I literally couldn't wait to tell you that, baby. That was.
Yeah, man. For sure.
First
shout
of
out
all,
to Zuffa,
hold on, Clay, because I got to say that we converted Ray all the way now. So where's the little sign that you always do for me, right?
Oh, hold on.
Is it on the desk?
It's right here.
There it is.
By the way, salute for press. Salute to everybody who's in the building. By the way, I'm gonna remind you guys, if you're just stepping in, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, man. We're giving you this content, you know what I'm saying? And shout out to all the fighters. We got some more guests coming on this week as well, man. We're gonna try to, I told you already, 2026, we're trying to roll into it way more interactive, way more engagement. We want to get this community involved in the boxing space. We want our voices to count. You know what I'm saying? For the people who love boxing and want boxing, we want to move the needle. It's one thing to have these private little conversations in our community and talk about what we think about the sport that we love, but it's another thing to be able to engage with the fighters, the coaches, and let them know that we support them, and that, you know what I'm saying, we want to see them in the best fights. And when they do give us the best fights, let them know that, how grateful we are and proud of them we are as well. You know what I'm saying? For testing themselves in the way that they do, man.
Yeah,
but
and win or lose too, right? I think that the important thing that everybody needs to know when it comes to you guys listening to ATP Combat Media, it's all about the love for boxing, right? The love for the combat part of it, and we're not trying to do these weird little narratives that you may hear on other ones. We're just trying to give you the facts. We're trying to bring them in, like Julian Rodriguez. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed that. I know a lot of our casual fans on the replay is going to, casual sports fans on the replay is going to enjoy it. But Julian gave us his story, right? And then, you never know. You'll get a little pop in from someone like Coach Bernard Hackett, who they just fought yesterday, right? He is at the airport coming on the show just to be like, hey, man, let me give you guys a little time. So, yeah, get used to that. 2026 is big, and Clay, I can't say it enough, man. I know you don't like to take the victory lap, but I do. I like the victory lap.
Why not? We'll do it for him, Angelo. We'll do it for him.
No, I'm just
look at him. Look, he's like, I'm eating right now. Look at that. Look.
All I'm saying, Clay, is I was getting hammered from people about Zuffa boxing. Reyes must work for Zuffa boxing. He must be getting paid for Zuffa boxing, and all I was trying to say is boxing needed a void. And Dana White is filling it.
Listen,
that's it.
It looks great.
That's all
Let me
it
tell
is.
you. And I never was knocking you, by the way. Let me just keep it clear.
I'm not talking about you, right?
No. I'm just generally saying, right?
HLD and other people.
The whole Zuffa for Press thing. The whole Zuffa for Press was me telling them they need to recognize you. That's what it was. So Zuffa was something I was expecting to be a great rollout, right? And I just wanted to make sure it took time. Bro, those fights were amazing. You cannot tell me, like, ring one was okay, right? I'm sorry, Zuffa 1 was okay.
Right.
Zuffa 2 was fireworks. Every fight was punch, power punch, boxing, you name it. I mean, you couldn't take nothing away. Rayo had a tough fight in front of him, right? Coming down back to 135. The guy looked like a superstar, right? He's going blow for blow with this guy, and he's still boxing. You know what I mean? Like, this guy was hitting Rayo with some shots. Then you had the Hot Rod versus Vosnik card. That was crazy. 2 knockdowns for Hot Rod getting dropped by Vosnik. Hot Rod was. Didn't he get up to Connor? I thought he kind of pushed him, even though he got a nice clip because he fell into him, but he kind of pushed him down. They counted it. Whatever. I'm not the ref. That's his call. But then when he got up and hit him with a 2-piece, bro, put him out. I said, yo, you cannot make this stuff up. This is what we need. And you don't get that in the current sport of boxing because these guys aren't going all out like they should be, right? You got all these stars, and shout out to the stars of boxing, by the way. We got all these stars that are trying to protect certain things, you know what I mean? And they're only looking for certain things. Where here, we're seeing the best fight, well, not the best fighter, but the best opponent fighting the best opponent, right?
Yeah, good matchmaking is something that
matchmaking, right? That's what I'm saying.
You got to acknowledge the matchmaking, man.
Yeah,
People didn't really realize that going into this, and that's why last night I called it with Ness over at the Boxing Voice. And shout out to Ness at the Boxing Voice because you know, and he always provides the opportunity and opens the lane up for media engage. You know what I'm saying, with the boxing space, one of the biggest platforms out there. You know, 1,000+ people in the chat in any given Sunday. You know what I'm saying, 1,000+. So always appreciative to him. But we called the fight last night and a little bit of a panel. I guess he had some friends, people that I got introduced to.
It was more like a watch party. Like if you guys. If you guys are used to Claymore calling the fights, that's what we do here at ATP Combat Media, and these are for the third shift workers and everybody who's not going to buy the pay-per-view. You can just listen to it like old radio style, right? What Clay did last night, and I understand why my brother had to go. You know, he was doing this thing. He promised to be a part of a watch party, so he went ahead and did a watch party, right? But you know, Clay, you know what I found that was nice when you were on it is Ness turned around, bro.
No, that's why that's what I was literally about to tap into. You know what I'm saying? It was a great experience because I wanted him to, because you know the big thing was the names on the card, right? And it was like, well, you don't know the names necessarily. Well, Ness knows all the names because he knows he has. He's
I think all of us that are boxing pundits, we know the names, but we're talking about everybody else.
Yeah, he was talking about the impact of the card, like to say, like, who's going to be watching it? Is it going to get the viewership? If people, you know, if you don't put the names on it, you know what I mean? It's like, I respect it, but at the end of the day, a good fight is a good fight, man. Good matchmaking is good matchmaking. And I thought, I was like, yo, let's call the fights because I think you're going to see that the matchmaking is so good that the fights are going to deliver on the entertainment value, on the fact if you're looking for good fights, we're going to see good fights, and very similar to a pro box, right? Pro box delivers like that as well. Pro box gives good fights with people that you might not know their names, but the fights are great fights, and and at the end of the fight, you might be like, I need to get to know a name, right? Like, damn, I need to keep an eye on this dude. So Zuffa is doing that very well, and I think when you take the fact that they're delivering to us great fights, and then now let's connect the dots with the fighters like Julian Rodriguez, Robert Merriweather. Let's bring in Jaleel Bernard Hackett, and you know, hopefully we can get Mozzie up here and a bunch of other fighters.
We're getting a whole bunch of
hopefully we'll get a bunch of fighters up here. You know what I'm saying, that are going to be able to share their experiences to say, all right, well now you've got the fighters who are letting you know that their experience is golden, that they're in a great place, they're being treated right. And now as fans, you can be hopefully getting what you want, which is what I believe your concern should be, which is about a quality product as far as the fights that are delivering. And we can get behind this situation that's out here and be a little bit more optimistic about what Zuffa could be in the coming years.
And on the back end of a dominated performance by all the fighters on the cards before, bro, that made so much better of the weekend, right? Let's keep it real, because we just had like literally one-sided fights, right? And we went from one-sided fights to competitive fights. And that shows you the discipline in boxing, like, you know what I mean? Matchups versus potential matchups that we think is going to be good to a matchup that we know nothing about, and it comes out in front of us and we're like, damn, that is a great fight. So we know what a great fight looks like, but then we know what a great fight looks like. When we really said, oh yeah, he watched that guy. That was a good fight. But then when you see a great fight, it changes your whole tempo and the way you look at boxing. I mean, that whole card was fireworks, man. Even the cruiserweights was, Tally, bro, he dominated that fight. Don't get it wrong. I think that was the opening fight, but
that was for the people who got a chance to watch it at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, 6 p.m. Eastern time.
But he even dominated, right? So
yeah, well, he's an Olympian too, right?
Yeah,
so, but what I wanted to say, Clay, was when you speak about Pro Box, and we rock with Pro Box, we talked about how good they are. I think that Pro Box, when they created it, their mindset was, we're going to give the fans the void that ShowBox left us, and this is for the hardcore boxing guys, and they don't have it. We're going to put it free on YouTube, and believe me, Gary Jonas and the rest of you guys, Paulie, Chris, all you guys, you're awesome. We appreciate it. But I've told you from the beginning, Clay, I've said it on the show so many times. When you on the chat are trying to tell me negative shit about Zuffa, I keep telling you, they're not catering to you. You're not their audience. Their audience is NFL fans, college basketball fans, college football fans, because they're trying to introduce boxing to that space. This is the same rollout that the UFC did. And you don't got to know the name of the guy from Russia or the guy from Ukraine. The only thing you got to know is, did you enjoy yourself and did you find yourself in a good fight? And I think that that's where Ray's enthusiasm is coming from. Even though Ray is a boxing aficionado, if Ray was just a casual fan, this is what the casual fan would sound like. Because he's like, I don't know who those two guys were, man, but they were trying to kill each other. And that was awesome.
Bayuchuk, right? That was a great fight he had as well with Ukraine versus Russia, which is sad to say, but that's what it was, right?
Yep.
And that was a war. Was it
Radzab Butayev, which is
Butayev, right? Butayev
champion
at 147 kg.
You guys know that was culture, right? That was Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I just said.
They shake each other's hands in that shit.
They walked away from each other. I was like, yo, that's crazy. I was like, yo, that's crazy. They couldn't even pat hands, and I was like, that's not.
And I'll tell you, at the end too, right? It was a split decision. 96-94 on one side, 96-94 on the other, and then the final judge gives it to Bochuk. At the interview, bro, Bochuk straight up made it a little all the way political when he was like, I know that to some people they think this is just a boxing match, but to me, this is really about Ukraine. I was like, damn.
They made it that way. Yes, they did. He took that. And I'm telling you, man, he was getting blasted in the first couple rounds too, Bochuk. I'm surprised he made it out to win that fight, because I was like, yo, he's eating some hooks, some jet. Yo, the jabs on Butayev was great. Yeah, it was crazy. Right. Those jabs got power, bro. And then we all seen these guys fight. And you know what I really liked? The introduction of the blue shorts. Pause. I like the fact that they got away from black and white. They added the blue. I'm pretty sure they're going to add red and green. They'll probably add red and green. And they're allowing the boxers to wear their own shoes and their own gloves if they need to be. But you know what I mean? So I think a lot of people that's overhyping this, and they started putting patches on the shorts too, besides the logo. I seen some people had different patches. So sponsorship wise, right? So that's good. And they're really allowing boxing to be boxing, but doing it on a league scale, which is an amazing thing that they're doing, man.
All right, guys, now let's dial it in a little bit. Let's not make this all about Zuffa now, because
we just finished the Zuffa show. All right,
no, I understand, but I'm dialing it back. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go to this weekend, man, which was outside of Zuffa. There was some great fights on this weekend. This weekend right here, one of the biggest weekends in boxing, the biggest weekend so far this year, right? Just nonstop from the morning time. I mean, look, I didn't get a chance to catch Pro Box, you know what I'm saying? But Saturday morning, you get into the Josh Kelly MURTAZALIEV card. Shout out to Josh Padley who showed out on that card as well.
Padley was awesome. Was awesome.
Right, but the main event on the card, and I think most of us, I think on this panel, we did speak about the big upset potentially being in this fight, right? MURTAZALIEV, a fighter who has not really been as active as he could be, and I really thought that might play a role in this one, we'll talk about it, right? And Josh Kelly, of course, who brings that Olympian background, great amateur, a great boxer, you know what I'm saying? But also, you know, not too many people know about him the way they probably should know about him. But I think going into the fight, the consensus was MURTAZALIEV showing and proving who he was in the Tim Tszyu fight. A lot of people took that fight right there and pretty much, I mean, people call him murder, right? Like he might be the most dangerous fighter in the division. And there was a lack of respect for Josh Kelly's acumen and ability to box well and how that would look in front of a puncher who's as dangerous as MURTAZALIEV. And I think anybody who watched that fight, we got a little bit of a surprise. A very competitive fight, by the way. We have 2 knockdowns in the fight. Well, yeah, 2 knockdowns in the fight.
Yeah, 2 knockdowns.
Up and downs up in the fight, but on the back end of the fight, it's all said and done. We have a new IBF champion in Josh Kelly. What did you guys think going into the fight, and what did you think about the fight at the end of the fight, and what would you walk away from? And we can go ahead with Ray Davis on this one.
Listen, man, that was the most amazing fight that I've seen, I think, that night, right? Because that I was looking for an upset. That was the upset. You know what I mean? I thought we would get another one because I thought that was going to be underrated. A lot of people wouldn't see the fight. So I was looking for the other cards, you know, main event to the United States for another upset, which we didn't get, which is okay. That fight had everything I needed to see. The boxer won, right? That is the first night, as the first of the night where the boxer dominated the bully, I would say, or the person that's a power puncher. Murtazaliev, I can't say his name. I'm gonna just call him BAKRAHM. BAKRAHM decided that he wanted to try to utilize the power shots. He never was able to land a jab. Kelly kept him off perfectly. Basically, we've seen this all night too, by the way. He kept him right at the end. He kept him right out of range, and he was able to connect on every single shot. Basically, how I think a lot of other fighters should have handled it, and I don't think they did. So that being said, that fight right there says a lot about the division. It looks good for what decision that Josh Kelly may make next. Excuse me, I'm tongue-tied here. But it also says that BAKRAHM is who I thought he was, and just nobody wanted to fight him because he just had overwhelming power. And you know what I mean? When you're sitting on the sideline for basically a whole year and a half, you know what I mean? That just shows you that we always talk about when you have inactivity, it can play a part in your wins and losses. So shout out to Josh Kelly for handling the situation. And I'm going to give Eddie Hearn props because this is the third fighter he done had now that has dominated power punchers. Liam Parle, we just seen it with Dalton Smith, and now we see this with Josh Kelly. Shout out to those guys. And I think these guys are panning out to be really great fighters and champions, all of them. I'm good. I'm letting my plane.
You're muted, Reyes, or we don't hear you.
My bad. Yeah, no, it was great. It was fantastic that, like you said, Clay, I did get to watch the Pro Box because that's what I do. I love this stuff. So got the chance to see it. It was great. And then to roll right in that morning, for you guys who are like super junkies about it, it started at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So you watch some of the undercards, and then it rolls into that whole card with the female Baturviev, Elif Turhan, who will beat the brakes off Alicia Bumgarner if she ever is brave enough to take it on. I'm just saying that for Two-Town. That's a clip for Two-Town.
Yeah. But, she ain't got it, bro.
Yeah. But Josh Padley looked great, like you said, Clay. 130 pounds. Nice to see what happens to people when they're finally getting promoted. So nice to see that winning the European belt, European Championship, and then you were in agreement with me on this, Clay, when we spoke about Josh Kelly, right? Where we were saying the whole time, if there was going to be an upset, this was the guy that would do it because Olympic background, he's a mover, it's in his hometown, right? And I'm not saying the judge just like robbed anybody. I'm just saying it helps when you do have the crowd behind you. Every time you throw combinations and punches, the crowd roars, right? That not all helps because judging is psychological. And that fight was very close. You saw what it looks like when a boxer starts to be able to be ahead on the points, and then he's fighting downhill rather than uphill, right? Where you have to give credit to BAKRAHM MURTAZALIEV for is this. I don't know how this guy makes 154, first of all. Secondly,
and he's talking about
He's talking about going to
147.
147. Yes, he is.
And secondly, I don't know how some of these fighters be complaining about making weight. Y'all got to talk to BAKRAHM about how to do it, because this guy's got to do the IBF rehydration weight, which only allows you 10% on fight night. So he only got to weigh another 15.4 pounds for fight night, right? So he didn't even get to go way up. And even still, man, this guy had so much power that shout out to BAKRAHM for flipping it. But BAKRAHM in that first half of the fight was fighting uphill. And then he knocks him down, bro. And then you just don't. Going into the last 2 rounds, honestly, like, you don't know which way it was going to go. So it didn't surprise me at all that one judge had it draw 6-6. It didn't surprise me at all that one judge had it 7-5 for Kelly. And then the final judge had it 8-4, which is the way I could have scored it 8-4. I believe my final scorecard was 7-5 for Kelly. But I believe that Kelly outright did win. So now, Clay, Ray, we have a new player at 154 pounds,
Yes,
man. And this guy could sell tickets. He could force any one of them, Virgil, Boots, any of them, to come to the UK and get paid. So how does this change that whole landscape now that BAKRAHM's no longer the boogeyman?
Well, look, I mean, first of all, great performance, and once again, the boxer puncher, the puncher boxer. I've been saying this about 154 pounds for a minute now, that there's a lot of punchers at 154, which is what makes it such a hornet nest. But I believe the intangible is going to be the boxer. I think that's going to be the difference maker. The boxer is fighting a lot more punchers than the punchers are fighting boxers. And we can segue into the other 154-pound fight that happened that day with Xander ZAYAS picking himself up another title, being the youngest unified champion in the 154-pound division, defeating Abbas Baharu in front of his home country of Puerto Rico. There's arguments here that this guy is Mr. Puerto Rico right now, arguments that he is the number 1 guy in the 154-pound division. But here we go. We have a boxer unified, a boxer who's unified, and we have an IBF champion who's not unified, who's a boxer. So we have 2 boxers in the conversation of champions here, and I think it makes a different. It makes a big difference. I think it makes the division very interesting now, because now a lot of these fights that people think are going to go in one direction. Listen, man, there are some real players in the game. So the Jerron Boots Ennises, the Virgil Ortizes, the Sebastian Fondoras, all of the top 154 pounders that you see in the game now have to really have their antennas up right now and better be prepared, because these boxers are moving around. They're able to deal with these punchers, the angles, and all of those things, man. The 154-pound division has become that more interesting, in my opinion. But what do you guys think about the Xander ZAYAS fight, him becoming the champion, the unified champion in the division, looking like he's become a huge star? Puerto Rico has him. I mean, what do you think about Xander ZAYAS right now at 154? And definitely, where does he sit right now as far as the conversation is on who the number 1 guy is in the 154-pound division?
Yeah, no, Clay, man, I mean, I just got to throw out facts, right? And maybe I'll get hated for it, but when you've already unified in your first title defense, like your first fight after winning the title is the fight of unification. You're only 23 years old. Abbas Baharu, as we've spoken about on this channel, we kept saying to people who are not the boxing pundits or boxing aficionados that this guy's the real deal. And his one loss arguably was very, like, it should have really gone to him. A lot of people feel like that split decision was a little weird. That was for his first world title fight. This guy was the real deal. He beat Yoenis Tellez, as you guys know, to win that title. So this wasn't like Xander getting a B-side opponent. And the ways, and even though the scorecards read split decision, 8-4 for Xander, 8-4 for Abbas, 8-4 for Xander, I scored at 8-4 for Xander, but I think what was more telling is how well in control Xander ZAYAS was throughout that entire fight. And it gave me that vibe, like, all right, I'm in my hometown in front of, thousands of people packed in this arena. For me, it reminded me of earlier this year how Agit Kabayel won in front of his German fans of 13,000, right? So here Xander is in Puerto Rico. And here's the final part of it, Clay. The way Xander carried himself after he wins, then he does a speech. He addresses the Puerto Rican crowd. He speaks in English extremely eloquently, bro, right? He builds up his community, and then he takes the time to build up his opponent and talk about their friendship and how much he, I mean, it makes you, I wish that was shown to the regular casual fans so that they would go, oh, this is what boxing is? A very classy type champion? This is the unified champion? Gave me Alexis Arguello vibes, honestly, for me, right? And I'm sorry, Boots. You know I love you, bro. You know I do. But I gotta say, the best 154-pound guy right now is the guy holding the WBO and the WBA. Xander ZAYAS.
Yeah, you got to give respect to where respect is due. And if anything, it gives Jaron Boots Ennis something to look up to, right? Not to look up at Xander, but listen, man, he's there. He's a unified champion. That's a big fight to make. Do what you got to do to get in there, man. That's one way to for sure prove that you're the best in the world. I saw Boots at the Ring Magazine Awards, and he basically, he was telling the whole entire space that, listen, man, I'm here to take over 154. It's my division. Whoever's got those belts is who I'm looking to get. Well, look, Xander ZAYAS picked up 2 of them, so I gotta believe that he's in the crosshairs of Jaron Boots Ennis, if not now, in the near future, before Xander can't even make the weight anymore, right? Ray, what'd you think about the fight, man? What'd you think about where you have Xander at this point?
Listen, man, I think Xander's number 1, definitely on the board. And I say that with respect, right? I think with we seen why Virgil was like, yo, man, let's go a different direction. We seen why Fundora was like a different direction. This guy has fleet of foot. What do you call it? Kid Icarus or whatever his name was, bro. He got wings on his feet, bro. He skated around that ring. He did what he wanted. He was able to slip and dip and punch at will and not with like super enough power, but just enough to stay back. And if you look at Baru's face at the end of the fight, that's what's crazy to me. He kind of looked like the dude from Star Trek, Lieutenant Worf, at the end of the day. And that's not me trying to just play him out, but this is just me being 100% real. This guy is straight goods, bro. When he comes out there to boxing, this kid has an IQ. This kid has he has a great defense. He knows exactly how to keep distance, and he is a boxer. And this is exactly what I was just saying to Bernard, right? I'm like, bro, your son looks like he looks so fleet of foot up there, bro. Like, and he can punch hard, like Hack Jalil, right? So he just looks exactly the same way in a division where he belongs, and he fits in well. And you can see when a guy is comfortable in a division, it shows you the talent and the skill sets of where they are when they are in these divisions and how well it plays a part. And I just gotta say at the end of the day, man, shout out to Xander. You just, bro, masterful performance.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's taking over that division. I think 154 has a new face. I think he's a great superstar in the making. If he's not already a superstar, Puerto Rico loves him. He has his support. Tito Trinidad, Miguel Cotto, all the biggest stars, then the legends of Puerto Rico seem to be behind this guy. He seems to be the real face of the Puerto Rican boxing space. I'm sure New York is going to support him in a big way, and I'm excited to see what he does next. He feels like he got the key to the city, and it's almost like you guys are going to have to come. If you guys want to be great in 154, it looks like all roads lead to Xander ZAYAS, right?
Through me. Through me.
Yeah, let's move on to the Shakur Stevenson Teofimo Lopez card, man. Delivered is maybe an understatement, but a very simple word to kind of describe what that card did. Great fights on the whole entire card. Shout out to Bruce Carrington, man. Arguably might have stolen the show last night if Shakur Stevenson didn't deliver the way he did on that shutout performance. But Bruce Carrington, man, steps into the building, man, and finally gets a chance to become a champion, a full-blown 126-pound WBC champion, puts him in the conversation he's been fighting hard for the past year and a half to be in, which is unifications and, of course, potentially in the Monster Inoue sweepstakes, if that ever does happen, if Monster Inoue does go to 126, right? But he gets his opportunity against a game opponent in Carlos Castro. We remember Carlos Castro for what he did against Stephen Fulton. He put him on his pockets, arguably more than once in the fight, and arguably beat Stephen Fulton. A lot of people felt like that decision went the wrong way, that Scooter didn't get that win, right? So this was going to be a game opponent, man, and 100% a how do they say, rites of passage, trial by fire for Shushu Carrington, who's going in here against a big puncher in Carlos Castro. He pulls it out. He faces adversity in his fight. He gets hit on the top of his head, gets knocked off his equilibrium. He fights through the adversity, and he gets a knockout of the year candidate against Carlos Castro. Now we have a new 126-pound champ, WBC champion in Shushu Carrington. Talk to me about the fight. Going into the fight, what you thought, and how do you look at him in the division now, man? I'll let Ray have it.
Listen, I couldn't wait to stop talking about this. I didn't conversate with freaking Flyer and the crew over there. I didn't talk to on other panels. I even had a personal conversation with you, Clay. This guy is really good and deserving of his title. It took him a long time to get it. The guy's damn near 30, if not 30. He was a prospect at a late age, and the guy's been boxing since he was a child. So it took him a long time. They kept the belts away from him. So well deserved in that applaud. Let's move on to the next section of what he does in the ring, right? He literally, like you just mentioned, he cleared his head. He got a little wild, right? But he did the right thing. And let me tip my hat to Carlos Castro, because Carlos Castro was the only guy on that card that learned how to cut off the distance. All these guys were getting outpointed all night, and I mean all the fights we watched, Clay, pretty much, that were dominated, right? They were all these slick fighters that were staying back, and they were using their jab, keeping all these guys at the end of their jab, and able to utilize and close distance. Keep the guy away from closing distance. What did Carlos Castro do? He figured it out. He figured out how to get inside. He got a nice hit on Shushu. Shushu felt the power. Shushu said, okay, all right, bro, this is what championship fights are about. Okay. So then he moves on, right? He gets out there and he does his thing. He ended up knocking this guy out. I said the same thing. This is definitely a knockout of the year candidate because it was just the way he did it. And the guy looked like the crunch machine, or he was doing the ab roll, whatever you want to call it, after he got knocked down. We don't know what to call it. And the greatest part about it, Inoue, I'm glad you mentioned that. Still don't know if he's ready for Inoue, Clay, because he showed me some flaws. But he has a length to keep Inoue back. So it would be a great fight. Now let's move over to what happens in that division. He has to go after Leo, bro. I think that's the fight that I want to see. I don't think I think the Espinoza fight is there, but for the taking. But I don't know if that's going to be the best fight for him. So I want to hold off on that and go to and we already know Nick Ball is about to fight Figueroa, and Figueroa might just take that title from Nick Ball. So if that happens, I'm definitely going with Shushu Leo for the next fight, for the unification, and then we'll see the other two fights happen later.
Yeah, the landscape does change from 126 pound for the 126-pound division, with Bruce Carrington up there holding a title without a doubt, man. We'll see what options and opportunities fall in front of him now as a champion. Let's see if Turkey gets involved with this one. Being that he's a Ring Magazine ambassador, let's see if Turkey gets involved and puts the money up and makes the next fight the best fight, man. And of course, we've got our eyes on Nick Ball and Brandon Figueroa this weekend as well. I think that's going to be a part of the decision as well. If Nick Ball is able to pull off this victory, I could see that fight being a huge fight in Riyadh as well. So, but Angelo, man, I've been talking about 126-pound division for a long time, man. It's one of my.
We've been talking about 126 pound. No,
it's one of my favorite divisions. Well, no, I mean, listen,
he's saying the channel. He's saying the channel. I get what he's saying.
But I am saying that you came in before you came in on the channel, right? And so I've been pushing. I've had so many segments about 126. You know what I'm saying? And I've definitely been a big supporter of Shushu and just upset that he couldn't get that opportunity. So it was a surreal moment for Shushu last night. I mean, he cried. He was in there with his father.
Oh my gosh.
He might have had one of the best reactions out of the whole entire night. The whole crowd went crazy. He comes out with MOP. If you understand the significance of MOP in Brooklyn and Brownsville, Brooklyn, you understand how crazy of a moment that was to happen in Madison Square Garden. A building he's probably been looking at his whole entire life as a child, planning on being in this building one day, but who would have ever known that his first championship he's going to get was going to be after he got escorted to the ring by legendary music icons in the New York hip-hop scene, New York hip-hop scene as MOP, and then get a knockout of the year candidate like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Building, bro. You know what I mean? In front of his father. But how'd you see it, Angelo?
Yeah, no, I mean, watching it real time, right? And shout out to General Admissions here in Las Vegas. Actually, Clay, when I was there with the family, as you know. My cousin who owns Hern, HERN.project, streetwear fashion brand. I was there with my brother-in-law, my sister, my nephew. And also, it's funny, in that same facility, we had the Zuffa boxing. Like, we had Tom Loeffler was there and the president. We were all watching the same thing happening live time. And that whole place was like, whoa, what did we just witness in Bruce Shoo Carrington here? That 5-punch, I believe it was, 5-punch combination, back, and then just flattens his opponent, bro, to win. And then it reminded me of like Jose Aldo when he jumped out of the octagon to go hug the crowd in Brazil. Shoo like jumped, or he like went outside the ring. He was like yelling at the crowd. His dad hugged him. I think Carl Moretti of the VP for Top Rank was hugging him also. And you could tell that this is a young man that must have been going through, I don't know, a lot in his life to finally get to this moment at only 17 fights and become the world champion, hold the belt that he's been dreaming of. Oh my gosh, bro. Like, I know you guys, and we're a manly show, right? But I'm sure there were little tears coming out of y'all's eyes a little bit when Shoo was celebrating that way. And as far as the division goes, Clay, I don't want it to sound recency bias, because then we're gonna be like, oh man, Shoo might be the best one. But given that performance, bro, and we know who we're looking at in Espinoza, like you said, channel's been covering it a while. You got Angelo Leo, who also had a knockout of the year type candidate when he won the title last year, right? And then you got good old Nick Ball fighting the former champion in Figueroa. It's close. Yeah. It's close on who we're gonna say is the best, but something's got to happen. And the only thing I'm gonna go right back to you, Clay and Ray, on is hopefully, because Top Rank doesn't even have a TV deal. Where does Shoo go next after this?
Well, look, like I said, he's a Ring Magazine ambassador, bro. He has Turkey, and that's why I was saying I'm campaigning for Turkey to get hands-on with Shoo at this point. I think he's done enough to earn that support. He's already been called the Ring Magazine ambassador. Man, get behind this kid, man. Hook him up. Put him in position. You've got access to Nick Ball. At a minimum, you got access to a Nick Ball. You probably got access to Rafael Espinosa as well, right? Just because of the relationship with Top Rank. So we just got to be patient. Let's see what happens. I think, like I said, a lot is running on the back end of Brandon Figueroa and Nick Ball's fight coming up this next weekend. So I think based on the results of that fight, we'll start to see things in the ball start moving a little bit more in that direction. But congratulations, more importantly, in this moment right now, the Bruce Shoo Carrington, man. You know I got your back. I'm a little biased when it comes to this one, man, because I am a fan of him. I think he's super articulate. I like the way he carries himself, and it was great to see him accomplish a milestone like that on Saturday night, man. What a great night for Shoo Carrington. That being said, let's continue to move the ball forward here. Big comeback fight here. Redemption again. KEYSHAWN Davis finds himself in this position to where he's redeeming himself, right? His last time we saw him, he blows weight on the scale at 135 pounds, loses his WBO title, and more importantly, probably has a very crazy, controversial fight or altercation in Virginia that just in his home, in a homecoming, right? Where he already had a great, successful homecoming before. This was going to be the second one. The city came out for him. I think the mayor gave him the keys and was showing love to him and his brothers. I mean, that was such a crazy story for it to end that way. Here he comes back at 140 pounds and not for a title, but against probably the most formidable opponent he's ever been in the ring with, in a tried-true Jermaine Ortiz, who's been in there with the likes of Lomachenko, who's been in there with the likes of TEOFIMO LOPEZ, arguably beat TEOFIMO LOPEZ in that fight. If you were scoring that fight, you might have went in the direction of Jermaine Ortiz in that one and competed with Lomachenko at the highest level, went a full 12 rounds with him and won a good share of his own rounds, just not the lion's share, obviously, right? But competed with the best. And here KEYSHAWN is at 13-0. Although he was a champion at 135 pounds, let's be honest, he had a little bit of prospect energy around him just because of the lack of fights that he had. So this was going to be a big test for him. A lot of people thought that this fight was going to be super competitive. I believe one of my co-hosts here on the panel thought that it may have even beaten one of the upsets on the nights of fights. But KEYSHAWN shows up. He shows and he proves. Brand new team, upholds a whole other team that he had as far as BOMAC is concerned, comes back in with the original cast that came up with him in the amateurs all the way up until he got with BOMAC. And he puts on a clinic and stops Jermaine Ortiz. This being the first time Jermaine Ortiz has been stopped. So he has a better win on his resume when it comes to Jermaine Ortiz than Teofimo's performance or Lomachenko's performance. Calls out Devin Haney at the end of the fight, guys. Says that's the fight he wants next. We also saw there was a clip of Bill Haney and KEYSHAWN Davis having a private little conversation before that crazy altercation, you know what I'm saying, that happened on the weekend. But Bill did say, hey, man, do your job. Stop this guy, and we'll go get to it and make this fight happen. So here we are. He stopped the guy. You guys let me know what you think about the fight, what you think about KEYSHAWN Davis and his new entourage, and what you think the next step is going to be for KEYSHAWN at this point.
All righty. So hold on. Let me first get the taste of crow out of my taste buds. Okay. Now that we did that, we're gonna start with KEYSHAWN surprised me. Actually, who surprised me wasn't KEYSHAWN. It was Jermaine Ortiz. He had no idea what he was doing. I don't know if it was the weight cut. I don't know what it was, but he just looked like a shell of himself. He tried southpaw. He tried orthodox. He just looked slow, sluggish, and dumb in the ring. He did not take advantage of his size, being the big. I thought was the bigger fighter, naturally bigger fighter. He didn't take advantage of none of that. He felt the pepper of these punches, and he was like, "Bro, these shit sting. I don't want to get hit with one of these. I gotta just dig out my my heart here, and I need to go in there and just take a couple shots to get something back." He just didn't know what he was doing. He was confused. He was just unbelievably unorthodox, to say the least, all the way. I mean, no matter what you look like, footwork was not sharp. Doing all that flexing and dancing and keeping it like, I was like, what is he doing, bro? Like, you're trying to taunt this guy. You have no points on the board. Like, it was just ridiculous, right? It helped him score, though. I'll give you that. It did help him score some punches, but it just wasn't enough, bro. And at the end of the day, man, I thought a guy that had the pedigree and all these things, that fought the Lomachenko into a great tough fight, which a lot of people thought he won, and fought Teo, and a lot of people thought he won. I thought he had it, bro. I thought he had it figured out. He didn't want to take another loss like that. The craziest thing about that fight, though, was the stoppage. I thought the stoppage was bro, you got 20 seconds left in the round. Why not let the guy just run around, call the fight? He already lost, so stopping it was crazy. Another point I want to make is to what just Clay said, that call out, right? He's on record of calling out Devin Haney multiple times. He talked to Bill. We've seen that. But then he gets to the press conference and he's talking about going a different direction. Well, I might want to fight Dalton Smith. I might want to go up and fight the other dude and the IBF champion, whatever his name is. But we'll get to that later. Maybe Devin Haney. So obviously the bag is Devin Haney. So why wouldn't you start with him and then say, if that doesn't work, then we'll look another direction? I think KEYSHAWN stays at 140. I don't think the Devin Haney fight happens, not because I don't think he's afraid or he doesn't want that fight. I just think he has a career at 140 and he realizes it, and it's up for grabs, especially that Shakur's talking about going back down to 135. That vacates a belt, and he has an opportunity to get a fight with Dalton Smith, who is the star right now of 140, and he's Eddie Hearn's guy. So why not get that money, fight him over there? And if we get that fight with Conor Ben and Shakur, we could see that card happening with Dalton Smith and KEYSHAWN on that card. I really am not playing.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, man, Reyes, man, you heard it all, man. I mean, it is what it is. KEYSHAWN, I didn't even see by the way, I didn't see the post-fight press conference, so I wasn't aware that he was moving around. But I could also imagine, you know, you can't put all your eggs in the basket of getting that fight with Devin. Devin has a lot of big fish to fry, so I don't see anything wrong with him, you know, just making it clear that there's other ways to skin a cat, that he plans on being active more importantly, and, you know, where he lands might be more about maybe more aligned with what's available for him, right? What's realistic that he can make versus what he wants to make. But Reyes, what did you think about the fight, and what do you think the next step is for KEYSHAWN?
Yeah, no, you said that KEYSHAWN is a Turkey or a Riyadh season ambassador, right? So
Right.
see, he's in that budget group.
Mhm.
I think that maybe people just aren't understanding that KEYSHAWN was the guy that was on the Ariel Helwani show, and he's talking about mental health, taking a break. We saw how, I mean, now in real time, we just saw
Mhm.
how that worked for him, right?
Right.
And also, even, I feel like sometimes the space, they get too critical on these human beings, right? Because they somehow think they have superpowers when they're just like us, right? And KEYSHAWN did the right thing. He took a serious note of his mental health. He was like, "Hey, man, I'm going to take a break." Then he went ahead and left Bomac. And I'm not saying Bomac's the reason, or I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying you as an individual have to be accountable for your own self, and you have to do the things that's right for you. And the only way we find out whether that ends up being the right move or the wrong move is when we see it happen in real time. And in real time, I just watched the co-main event in KEYSHAWN Davis knocking out Jermaine Ortiz, who I believe Ortiz has never been knocked out before, with a beautiful liver shot that was planted. And KEYSHAWN Davis, even to Bob Arum, always talking about how he believes KEYSHAWN's got that Sugar Ray Leonard type of access to becoming a superstar. We know that that was a sold out event of, I believe, 21,500 people were there at Madison Square Garden. I don't know what the full numbers of what the global viewership is, but I do know that earlier this morning, Ring Magazine already put out that card for people to watch. So I'm sure a lot of YouTubers are going to get or YouTube people are going to get a chance to watch KEYSHAWN Davis versus Jermaine Ortiz. KEYSHAWN, it's weird for me to say this because he doesn't have a belt, but he's sort of in the driver's seat if we're really talking about it, because if his budget's coming from Riyadh season and he doesn't really have a promoter, or maybe he does with Top Rank, but Top Rank doesn't have a network deal yet, he could sort of kind of move around. He could work with Top Rank. He could do the Shakur and work with Eddie Hearn, maybe, possibly. But yeah, man, I'd love to see KEYSHAWN Davis, if he wants to, I guess, stay at 140, fight at 140. I think the move for him is to go to 147 and go get Lewis Crocker, who's the IBF champion over there. Go do it in Ireland. That'll make him even more global, right? But what we're talking about, Ryan Garcia is already fighting for a 147 title against Mario Barrios. Maybe KEYSHAWN can fight the winner of that coming up, right? There's Conor Benn, bro. Conor Benn needs a first fight, and I know that the Shakur thing's hot, but what if KEYSHAWN stepped in and said, "Listen, man, you scared to do that rehydration clause with my bro Shakur? How about me? Because I'm not scared to know. I'll take you on right now, straight up, right?" KEYSHAWN Davis versus Conor Benn could look good. So not necessarily Haney, and I don't think so much that it was KEYSHAWN asking for it, Clay, more than it was, I think the rumors maybe started because Bill Haney was talking about it. KEYSHAWN had mentioned some kind of text thread that Bill Haney's going to choose to show people about the two of them talking. But at the end of the day, man, KEYSHAWN is a player. He could be a superstar in the current boxing space. And I'm here for it. And I don't get mad at KEYSHAWN. By the way, guys, leave KEYSHAWN alone about fighting Shakur. He already said,
yeah, come on now.
Tag. He said $500 million each, and he'll fight his brother Shakur. So he already told you the scenario that it can happen. So leave him alone about that.
Right.
No doubt.
There's the numbers in the chat, by the way, Angelo, but they're potential. They're not real yet.
Okay.
Digital counted.
Okay.
So yeah, man. KEYSHAWN next. We'll see what he does. I mean, he's been wanting to fight Devin. I gotta disagree with you on that, Angelo. He's been talking about Devin ever since he was at 135. He was wanting Devin. He's always wanted to fight him, man. And whether it's clout, whether it's about the money, whether it's he's a superstar, he thinks he can beat Devin Haney. I think stylistically, that's a great fight for Devin. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you. But shout out to Bill Haney and Devin Haney. They were on the Boxing Voice just literally before we went up on the show here, before we started talking to Julian and all them. And he's talking about potentially, looking at a Xander ZAYAS fight, a super fight. You know what I'm saying? To challenge Xander ZAYAS for those unified belts he picked up. I think that'd be a great stylistic fight for Devin, and I think that would be a challenge for him. and him going up in weight, adding another division, being unified at 154. I think that's also a legitimate option for him. So KEYSHAWN did the right thing by laying out the landscape and letting it be known that, he has a lot of options, man. He's delivered again on a great performance. He has to keep himself together outside the ring, of course. Make sure you keep your nose out of bullshit, you know what I'm saying, so that you can be available and that you're a viable option for any of these big fights. But yeah, I'm excited to see what he does next. We can speculate all day long as far as what direction he'll go into. But listen, he had a great night. Shout out to him. I agree with you, Ray. I think Jermaine was out of his element. Was Jermaine running? I don't know if he was necessarily running, but I would say that he was the range that he was trying to maintain kept him out of punching, being able to punch KEYSHAWN in real time. He was a little too far out of range. A lot of the shots he was throwing were short because he was so far out of range. So in that mindset, I would say he was being a little overly defensive minded. Right, he was so concerned about what was coming back. He was kind of losing his position on being able to capitalize on some moments I thought he had in the fight to get offensive. But when you get all the way out of range like that, it plays for you the way it did. Shout out to everybody in the building. I think we got like 96 people in the building or some number like that. Hit the like button, help the channel out. Hit the like button right now. Subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and continue to grow the channel, and we can get right into the main event, the big fight that everybody was looking forward to see, the big, what the hoopla was all about. Shakur Stevenson stepping up, WBC lightweight champion, challenging himself up to go into the junior welterweight division to challenge a two-time lineal champion, current WBO champion at the time, and TEOFIMO LOPEZ. TEOFIMO LOPEZ, who's been very hungry for a big fight. Seems like the Devin Haney didn't check the box for him. He didn't want to make that fight happen. The Brian Norman Jr. fight was there. He didn't want to make that fight happen. He wanted the Terrence Crawford fight. That just wasn't realistic. Terrence Crawford was looking to fight Canelo Alvarez. He wanted to make the fight with Jerron Boots Ennis. Jerron Boots Ennis wasn't interested in it. Wanted to unify the division and go up to 154. And he ultimately almost got left in the cold. And here comes Shakur Stevenson. I'll be your Huckleberry. I'm looking forward to go ahead and make this fight happen, make it a signature fight happen for Shakur Stevenson, who's on his own rights has been looking for that big fight to finally put all of the speculation to rest. I'm that guy, and I'm going to show and prove it when I get in the ring with this guy who defeated Lomachenko, who defeated Josh Taylor. You guys said he's that. He's a two-time lineal champion. There should be no excuses on the back end of this fight. We expected the fight to be competitive, but it didn't go that way necessarily. As Shakur Stevenson went ahead and dominated TEOFIMO LOPEZ, pillar to post. I had it 12 rounds to 0. The judges had it 11 rounds to 1. Look, we don't need to argue about the little things. At the end of the day, Shakur Stevenson put on a masterclass.
Correct.
I'm interested in what you guys thought about the fight and what you see next on the back end of him and Conor Ben having that kind of face-off in the ring as well.
Angelo, you busy or you want me to go?
Oh, yeah, no, go ahead, go. I thought you were going to go because that's kind of the rhythm we've been in.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I got it, bro. I got it. I just want to make sure. So listen, man, that was another element of what I said. You reach, you teach tonight, bro, because it was all that all day. We see Josh Taylor started off. You reach, I'm teaching BAKRAHM. I'm gonna stay at the end of that jab where you cannot reach me, and every time you point that finger at me, I'm gonna punch you right in your shit. And he did so. We go all the way down to the shoot fight, right? We'll move it along. We got the same thing that happened with the Xander ZAYAS fight, and as we move forward, we got KEYSHAWN Davis doing the same thing. And lastly, but swiftly, I told you guys I don't care about reach advantages. I don't care what it says on paper. Shakur Stevenson made Teo look like a freaking amateur. I'm sorry. I think Teo is a great fighter. I just think he was outside of his element. I think Shakur just showed us that there's levels to this, just like Devin did with Brian Norman. And Shakur is really at the top of the game. I moved him up my pound for pound. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think I have him at number 4 right now. If not number 5. Number 4. I'm moving Benavidez down. I'm gonna keep it real with you. That dude is right there at the top of the tier, man. And he is so precise, bro. And he made sure that he stayed where he needed to stay at as he was fighting Teo. Teo didn't have an answer. And we talked about the mental game, right? He took away the mentality of TEOFIMO so early that when his dad was talking to him, he had no clue what he was saying. The dude is sitting there. Dad had nothing to say. What are you going to do? Go get him. You punch him. Fuck him up. Like, we heard that in the corner. We're like, yo, what does that even mean, bro? No, you should have been like, listen, man, walk him down, put your high guard up, put this man in the corner, and let off on him. No, you had none of that to say. No plan A, B, C, nothing. Just go in there and try to fight. Hit him at least. And I was like, yo, I get it, right? You just want your fighter to get some type of some hits, some comfortable, you know what I mean, get into a motion of making contact. Then maybe you give him a game plan. Man, this dude put on roller skates and was like, yo, remember that with Bugs Bunny when he's in the ice or in the ring and he was just spinning around with the skates on and he's punching the dude in the face? That's exactly what it looked like, bro. The dude turned around and walked T.O. down, bro, every point of that. And he was sitting back in the defensive stance. He didn't even go into the Philly shell. Bro, dominance.
Yeah, man. To say that we were impressed by the performance is an understatement. Shout out to Dragonfly Jones in the building with the super chat. Says, does Key need to put in more at 140? Gary, Antoine, Hitchens, Dalton Smith. I mean, listen, man, like Reyes said earlier, options. He has options, man, and we can only sit back and really see what he's going to do, because if we try to figure this kid out at this point, who's opened up this wide door of opportunity, we'll be talking all day long, right? So yeah, man, everything you said in that super chat, a viable option, and then some, my brother, and then some. Reyes, man, Shakur Stevenson, TEOFIMO, man. I'm dying to hear what look. First of all, going into the fight, right? Going into the fight, we thought it would be competitive. We tried to give TEOFIMO every.
We did. We really did. We really.
I mean, I got a little pessimistic towards the end because I was just sold that the dynamic between him and his father was going to be a problem. I really felt like it was going to be toxic. Yeah. But as far as his ability is concerned, the capabilities he had, we knew he could do well against Shakur. I still had Shakur winning, but thought it'd be a very competitive fight. Brother, it wasn't competitive. Never had the answers. Couldn't adjust. Shakur breezed through that one. I'm dying to hear what you thought about the fight and what you saw.
Yeah, guys. We live now in the Shakur Stevenson era. And I know I get a lot of hate because I've been rocking with Shakur since he won the silver medal. But this young man is special. And whenever I say to people, this young man's ceiling, when he's all said and done, is going to be Pernell Whitaker or greater, people go, come on, Angelo. Slow down, Angelo. Why are you on this Shakur Stevenson guy so much? Because he just won his 4th world championship in his 4th weight class. He's only 28 years old. He's we saw how he dominated Oscar Valdez at 126 pounds, and then he moved up to 130 and got that belt. Then he moved up to 35 and pretty much dominated. I mean, if we're being honest, there's really nobody at 135 pounds I really want to see him fight, just because none of those guys are ready, man. So he challenges himself and moves up to fight the Ring Magazine champion. And as we know, moving forward from 2026 on, it's going to become more and more apparent to the rest of the world that the only real championship that's going to matter is having the Ring Magazine belt, right? So he went right after the guy. That's the guy. That's the guy that so many believed. Hey, man, this guy beat Lomachenko. Teofimo Lopez did that. Teofimo Lopez beat the undisputed champion, Josh Taylor. Teofimo Lopez did that, right? And all we just kept saying, me very heavily, Shakur's too dominant. He's going to beat him. I can't see. There's so many ways Shakur could beat Teo, and there's really only one true way Teo could have beaten Shakur. So sure enough, what do we see? Shakur puts his dominance in first, second, and third round. And remember how last week when we were doing this, I kind of broke down that if you're a casual fan and you're trying to watch this, then watch this in 4 quarters. The first 3 rounds, the flow of that first 3 rounds will tell you the story of the next 3 rounds, and then they'll tell you the story of the second half of the fight. Well, Shakur Stevenson was ahead 3-0, which now means he was fighting downhill, which became an uphill battle for Teo. Now, in the next quarter, which is rounds 4, 5, and 6, we see Teo trying different things, and there was just no answer, to which you saw Shakur even placing his dominance and at times smiling. He was smiling when he was hitting T.O., because it's almost like the Matrix for him. He knew everything. He already saw the codes before before the punches were even coming his way. And by the time we got to the second half of the fight, which is round 7, all the way to the 12th round, the one thing all of you who have hated me for saying Shakur is next level is none of you could say Shakur was moving backwards. Oh, Shakur was the one moving forward. Shakur was the one trying to engage in the distance. It was Teofimo Lopez trying to figure it out and moving backwards because Shakur was hurting him. And I've even heard you, Ocho Cinco, on Shannon Sharp show talking about how, oh, this is boring. Listen to me, Ocho. You don't know how to watch boxing, bro. You don't. You just don't. And maybe you could come listen to our show where we could teach you how to watch boxing. But what we saw was complete dominance from a fighter who was stepping forward, pressing the action, and Teofimo Lopez, who was a former pound-for-pound, former Ring Magazine champion twice, was just getting dominated. So it isn't the T.O. lack things more than Shakur is just that guy. He's way up here. It's way up here, Clay. So we're in the Shakur Stevenson era. And to all the Haniacs out there who's going to start chiming in at me, and I know Ray Haney's your guy, but I just got to let me just say let me just say this. We've been very, very positive with Devin Haney in his career. We've always given Devin Haney his credit. Devin Haney's at 147 pounds, man. He's got his own thing. What are we doing? Shakur just won 140. Can we let the man celebrate that he's the best 140-pound champion, winning his 4th world title in his 4th weight division? Can we do that for a little bit of time?
I'm on the same page as you.
I'm with. Listen, let me tell you,
Ray. Before you go, hold on. I got to go ahead and get the super chat here. I am Dallas Stoppe 6948 says panel's thoughts on Fundora Thurman for the WBC. Hey man, let the fight happen. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to lie to you. I'm not all that interested in the fight like that. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be a significant fight just off the strength of who's going to be the one carrying that WBC title. It's a championship on the line. Obviously, we saw the division move in a crazy direction with Josh Kelly picking up a title and Xander becoming unified. So, you know, this conversation right here is for that last and final belt that we get to find out where and who holds that belt to see what the involvement's going to be in the conversation. I think, listen, we've watched boxers have some great performances this weekend, so don't sleep on Keith Thurman, you know what I mean? But this is going to be an uphill battle for him, man. This is a big, large, tall, no pun intended task in front of him and Sebastian Fundora. And you know, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm going with Sebastian Fundora on this one for the win. But I can see Keith Thurman putting on a clinic and breaking this guy down. And if he has that athleticism in him, if age doesn't catch up with him, and if he's healthy, he could definitely win this fight. But it's not my big cup of tea. I'm not gonna lie to you.
And yes, Angelo, let me just rephrase this for you very quickly. So you don't get this twisted. I never said that he would fight Devin Haney. I do see that fight being a very close fight if it ever happened. Right. But I am on point and on record of not wanting to see that fight because I don't think it happens. 1, 2, I think these guys are so close. It's a fight that we need to see when they're both at the same level of primeness. Like once they clear out everybody that's being talked about and they're the last 2 standing, that's when we see this fight. I don't dismiss anything, right? A lot of people get caught up in the moment, and the greatest fighter now is not the greatest fighter that we just seen yesterday. You know what I mean? We see that all the time. You know, the last fight was the one that stays in our mind. Shakur is an excellent fighter. I'm not rooting for him to go up and fight Devin Haney, especially if he wants a rehydration clause. I do understand why, but we already seen Devin said, I'm not doing that shit. Like, because he knows the advantages go both ways in that fight. If there's no rehydration clause, it's Devin. If it does have one, it's Shakur. So it's no even ground either way you think of it. So I don't even want to see it. I don't even want to talk about it. I'm on record of saying that. I just want the best for these guys. I think they're both great in their own way. And when the mega fight happens, when it's ready, I'm there for it. I just don't want to see Pacquiao Floyd once somebody takes 6 losses and the other guy's on undefeated, and you know what I mean, we figure out how to beat this guy and that guy, whatever the case may be. I don't want to see that. I just want to see them both at it when they're both ready and they're saying they're ready for each other. then we'll see it. Other than that, I'm not promoting it. I'm not asking for it.
And let me just add to that real quick, Clay. Just for me, it just I understand, and I'm saying what I'm saying because I want it to last the test of time, as we know has been working for us, Clay, in the channel. I think the best thing to do if you're promoting either guy or if you're Turkey is let's see if Haney can become the undisputed 147-pound champion. That'd be awesome. Let's see it, right? Let's see if Shakur can become the undisputed 140-pound champion. Let's just see what happens, right?
I agree.
And now, if you got the undisputed 140-pound champion fighting the undisputed 147-pound champion at whatever year that is, 2028, whatever. Now you got something to sell, Turkey. Now it's like, this is the younger version of Crawford Canelo, right? Like now we're going to get to really see them like at their peaks, at their primes. And again, I'm not saying that it's a guaranteed that Shakur would get the undisputed championship at 140, but I will rock with him that he would if everybody wants to challenge. And I think given the space of 147, me and Clay have already made a deal that we will never bet against Devin Haney again after the Brian Norman. So I believe Devin Haney could do it too. So let's see that happen.
Definitely we made that deal. Definitely not betting against Devin anymore. He's easy. I'm not betting against Devin anymore. I'm not betting against Shakur anymore. And obviously Terrence is retired, but he's a fighter who I'm not betting against either. If they were to fight each other, literally you guys would see me say, let the best man win. I would not pick a winner in that fight.
I'm with you.
That kind of a fight. But let me tap into the TEOFIMO Shakur Stevenson situation just a little bit here before we close out the show, man. Shout out to all the TO fans, shout out to all the Shakur fans, and shout out to fans of boxing in general, because boxing fans won Saturday night. Okay, that's who really won at the end of the day. We won. We got to see the sweet science executed at the highest level, and a masterclass was delivered. Now let's dive a little bit deeper into this and keep it frank. At the end of the day, Teofimo Lopez is a talented fighter, but without a doubt, there is an underlying issue here, a can that's been getting kicked down the road for years now that a lot of us have observed. Some people haven't wanted to give the weight to the elephant in the room. Other people's have. I was one of those guys, I'm not going to lie, who's very vocal, especially in the week build up to the fight, when I saw all of the antics that Senior was doing, that Junior was doing, him not being at the press conference, all the the confrontation he had with Terrence Crawford, Teofimo all of a sudden becoming very cringe again, backtracking from his poised, calm, professional stance that he was trying to take, going right back into his bag, inviting people to his private parts, fainting like he was going to pull his pants down during the weigh-ins. The way the face-off happened was very awkward. Him not wanting to engage in the face-off at the press conference, and Shakur having to bring the whole camera crew, his team, Teofimo's team, everybody had to walk over to him. He just looked like there was going to be some reservation in his willingness to engage in that fight. And it translated, to be frank with you guys, the way I thought it would. I really thought, after seeing all that Shakur Stevenson was going to dominate him, that he wasn't going to have the answers. I almost 150% guaranteed you guys that he was going to begin to take things away from Teofimo, and that the adjustments were going to have to be made, and that his corner was going to have to be a corner that he could buy into their philosophy and buy into their strategy and approach to what they worked on for 3 months or however many months went by on beating Shakur Stevenson. He was not able to pull the trigger. The father broke down, was having emotional outbursts in the corner, screaming on Teofimo at times, not being very motivating, telling him he was going to regret and be mad at himself in the morning. He was checking all of the boxes that I was speaking on that whole entire week. And I wasn't trying to hate on Teofimo, but this game is 80 to 90% mental, 20 to 10% physical, and he was not checking the boxes on the mental side of this fight. Whereas on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, you have a Shakur Stevenson whose team is completely behind him, was there at the press conference, was there sound body, sound mind, sound soul, right? focus on supporting Shakur Stevenson. The supporting cast was A1, dream team quality. Terrence Crawford, Andre Ward, Floyd Mayweather, Wally Moses, Keyshawn Davis. The whole space was supporting him, and this was just a gumbo that was going to stir up into the worst nightmare that Teofimo Lopez could be in the ring with, which was a cerebral mind, but not having. It was going to be a cerebral fight, but he didn't have the supporting cast members. Teofimo put himself in a position to where he was by himself in that ring, by himself in that corner, and by himself against a whole team. And that's what happened. He broke down in front of a complete team. Could you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, coming out for a fight and you thinking you're about to fight one guy and you walk out your front door and there's a mob out in front of your door, bro? This is what Teofimo was facing. And it changed the conversation to, I could win this fight, to how in the hell am I going to win this fight? Because there's just too many people involved with it. You heard Teofimo Sr. talk about it. He said, Wally, why you got to go get Andre Ward? Why you got to go get Floyd Mayweather? Why you got to get these people? Why can't you just do it by yourself? He tried to make it sound like it was a joke, but it wasn't. It was him speaking to the elephant in the room, speaking to his own insecurities, and why he probably was doing whatever he was being accused of doing before the fight so that he couldn't make it to the damn press conference, right? And put Teofimo in a situation to you assured him he was by himself. He was already feeling by himself. He was already worried about it. And what do? You get tired. You have a hangover. Whatever the excuse is, this kid, and he is a grown man, but he's young. And this is the biggest fight of his life. And you have him walk out into this press conference by himself with a whole team berating him. And what does he do? He gets back into his cringe bag. He inviting people, your mouth can't fit my dick in your mouth, or your dick can't. Well, I don't know what the hell he was saying.
It was kind of weird.
There was a whole bunch of cringe shit that meant nothing. And the narrative was he's playing games with Shakur. No, he's playing games with himself. Shakur has too much pedigree around him to fall for it. Even though he bit a little bit on the stage and walked across the stage like he was going to slap you, trust me, he had the chance. That's like me having a bunch of things going on, but then I go in the back room, and who's waiting on me in the back room? Ray Davis and Angelo Reyes. And what's Angelo saying? Bro, really? Calm down, bro. He's trying to get you out your game. And guess what? On fight night, I've shaken off all that shit. I'm back to being a focused, well-oiled machine, and you about to get your ass whooped, bro, because I'm the better fighter. I'm the better fighter at the end of the day, and I'm betting on that. And that's what Teofimo faced. And on the back end of this, I don't know what Teofimo does next. I saw a very disturbing interview that he had. I'm wishing him the best. Listen, man, he painted himself into a corner. He bet on himself. He cut off all friends, all bridges that he had to people who could potentially do things for him. And now he's in a position where he has to patiently wait. I heard he made a king's ransom in money. That's great. I hope he uses that to elevate his life, do great things for his family. But money isn't everything. I hope more importantly, he faces the mental, he gets the therapy that he may need. You know what I'm saying? To kind of get through this. I hope him and his team can figure it out. And I would encourage him to, yes, I'll say it boldly and be frank. Get another team, bro.
Yep.
Get another trainer. Get another team. That's what I'm saying boldly. You know what I mean? Who am I? I'm just a content creator in the space. And don't take my word for it. Do what you know you need to do. But if you ask him for my 2 cents, I don't see any use in him at this point. I think you can you have enough data. You know what I'm saying? You have enough experience with this team to make the decision for yourself. But man, more importantly, salute to Shakur Stevenson. The whole world is opened up for him. Conor Ben gets in the ring with him. He takes an opportunity. I was so happy for Shakur, happy for his daughter, happy for his wife, happy for his family. It was a whole family. Happy for Terrence. He was so happy. I think the boxing space was happy to see Teofimo get knocked off his horse. He's been trolling a whole entire culture and the whole community of people for a year and a half. There was a huge victory in Madison Square Garden that night. And yes, Star was born. And yes, pound for pound, number 4 on the list as far as I'm concerned right now. Shakur Stevenson's earned all the accolades. I don't know what he's going to do next, but like my co-host Ray Davis said, and my co-host Angelo Reyes said, man, I'm going to give him his grace and just celebrate this man.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? For what he did, bro. I'm gonna celebrate this man for what he did, bro, because that's what it's time to do. Celebrate.
There you go.
Fighter in the world, bro. Period.
Yeah. Yep. And let me tell you something, Clay. I'm glad you touched on that, man. Listen, what Shakur did was evolution, man. It was like what we needed in the sport. It wasn't that the fact that he beat somebody moving up, or he was the bigger guy in the ring, or he was a taller guy. I don't want to hear none of that. What we was promised was a great fight. And as far as the TEOFIMO side goes, the team doesn't really matter because wasn't he training with Freddie Roach, working on the jab? And what I always said about him and his jab, Clay, please tell me real quick.
I don't know. Like he has the best jab.
Oh,
No, that he got short arms. He has a horrible jab.
Thank you. And it showed, right? And it showed that he never had a jab. And the only person he could fight with a jab was Loma and Comey. That was the only two people I seen him really master the jab with, and probably fights before that. I really didn't watch him too many fights before that. I do remember a few, but these are the things that he has issues with. The corkscrew jab always works for him because of his athleticism and him jumping up into that like uppercut style when he uses it. But as far as him ever just setting up a jab, that was crazy for him to come out trying to throw the jab. I was like, yo, what is he doing? He started like a high guard, but he was throwing like the jab. And I'm like, bro, what is he doing? That's not Teo. Teo looked nervous from the gate. He looked like he knew he was going to be outclassed. And I'm not trying to say that to be funny. I'm really speaking from what I seen that fight. And I thought Teo's best thing was to try to smother as much as he can with Shakur, get inside and push him back. Get him in the corner. Don't get him against the ropes. Get him in the corner and just start trying to fight that way. Just like we seen our boy Carlos Castro did to Shushu, right? When Carlos Castro figured it out, he didn't try to get Shushu on the ropes. He trapped him in the corner. He had nowhere to go but to get hit. They failed to do their missions, bro. Shout out to Shakur for showing that he is the best fighter to me in the world currently. I respect for what he did. Amen. Say, man. Shout out to Jersey. That's all I got. I'm done.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, no, I was gonna say, Clay. I mean, when you guys are listening to the show or listening to the replay, and please, guys, please press the like buttons. We're always trying to get to 100 likes. That helps with the channel getting pushed out there to a lot of different other people who can listen to the show. And we're always trying to speak so that when we're talking on this show, it could be listened to by someone who doesn't barely even know anything that's going on in boxing, so that it can relate to them in terms of what's happening in the boxing world right now. And I say that to say that how fortunate are we in 2026 that if you look at the top 4 pound for pounds, Usyk, Inoue, Bam Rodriguez, Shakur Stevenson, like all of these names are names that make you want to watch boxing. They all are that good. And we live in a time now where the pound for pound list, we can't really sit there and say none of the fighters on the pound for pound list are amazing. Boxing is a global sport. USA is joining it now with free boxing back again. And man, it's just let's not do the whole here's what went wrong. Let's do here's what went right. And what went right is a 28-year-old former pound for pound, current Ring Magazine WBO champion, fought a current pound for pound, current 135-pound champion. Should have already gotten a ring belt for that, but I understand, whatever, politics. Zuffa's trying to fix the politics. And now he is the ring champion. They both fought in the beginning of their primes of their career. They fought in Madison Square Garden. They sold it out. The only thing that went wrong, like I always say, Clay, is I wish it was on free access television to like 7 million or more households in America, bro, so that more people could have seen the greatness that we saw. Along with what you're saying with Teo, my suggestion, Teo, having been in this sport, in this space, in the capacity that I've been in, brother, is do what KEYSHAWN Davis did, man. You're saying some stuff that has us worried about you, bro. And none of us, I mean, I don't care. I mean, Clay said it himself. He He didn't necessarily like you as a fighter, and the things that you said were very derogatory to the community. But take all of that away. Human beings are human beings. We wish no ill on anyone, and you, the way you're sounding, you need to get some help, and you need to take a step back, and you have money to be secured, so okay, but really like take some time. It did a very good job for KEYSHAWN moving forward. KEYSHAWN decided to move away from arguably one of the best coaching teams, right? And it worked out for him. So we saw in real time how very toxic your father is as a coach. I know some people may say whatever they want to say to me about it, but I am a father, and I'd never talk to my son that way. And the way it was happening
in that scenario,
yeah, in live time too, man. Like, come on, man. And we've had, if you guys want a good example what a good father-son / coach trainer relationship looks like, listen to our interview last week between Jaleel Hackett and Bernardo Hackett, and how they answered questions that me and Clay formed, and you could tell a real bond there, right? Like,
yeah, and there was, and listen, Jaleel was low key a little like, damn, man, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of talking about, like, you could see that you saw them deal with it, right? The respect and the love, though, was there, and it was healthy. You saw Bernard pull back and recognize and read the room and allow, like, that's what it's all about, that checks and balances. Nobody's perfect, you know what I'm saying? But when it's just one-sided, the way it looked like on that night, where it's just like, you could see T.O. tuning him out, bro. You can see T.O. just like not listening to him, and you see the father just kind of like, to T.O. was like, womp, 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 womp. And that's just, there's a broken line of communication between you guys, and he's just not going to be effective in your corner, in my opinion. And this is beyond the other relationship, the bond that you guys have. That's your business, right? But as far as the functionality of that dynamic, as far as TEOFIMO being the best fighter he can be, I just don't see the chemistry.
Look, man, I was just gonna say, Ray, real quick.
Yeah, HLD, exactly.
Yeah, anytime HLD that I hear a person publicly too say words like "I hate myself" or say words like "God is punishing me," bro, that's
all the time.
That's
all the time.
Yeah, that's mental health. That is mental health stuff, and we're worried for you, man. So seriously, TEOFIMO Lopez, like, no joking around. Please, bro, don't do any more interviews. Don't do any more interviews.
Yeah, don't do that either. No more interviews.
Just get some help. You got a new child coming in your life. Work on your relationship with your girl. Like just chill, man. You don't need the boxing world anymore. So just chill. And if you can come back in the same capacity as Keyshawn Davis, okay, great. Yeah. We'd love to have you back, right? And by the way, Clay, Zuffa's waiting for him. I know he burned. I know he burned bridges in certain places, but he didn't burn a bridge with Dana White yet. And believe me, if anyone is willing to accept whatever criminal behavior you may have had in the past, we know Dana White's your guy. Right?
Not even criminal. Like, let's not put that on him. He's not criminal, but
no. I'm just saying, though. Yeah. You've from the John Joneses to whatever else. Yeah. Much love, John Jones. I'm just saying that it's out there. It's public. I'm not making these things up.
Listen, guys, man, it's about that.
I know you gotta get going.
I gotta get going. I gotta make way to. I gotta go pay the motherfucking bills, man, and go put my hours in with the man. But man, I appreciate everybody who's helping to build this channel. We got 108 people in here, man. A great show out today, man. If you can do me a favor, hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe to the channel right now. Let's help the channel grow, man. If you're in the X space, salute to you. Follow me there. Obviously, if you can get over to the YouTube channel, subscribe and help the channel grow. We had a great interview today with Julian Rodriguez. Salute to Julian Rodriguez for coming by the channel, man. That was a great show. Real great introspect, not only on his experience at Zuffa, but him as a person. So if you didn't see it and you're just coming in there, rewind this, get back to the beginning. I'm actually going to separate and drop it on its own as well as an interview. So watch that interview. Real good introspect on Julian Rodriguez. Really excited to see what he's going to do with his career moving forward. Shout out to Bernard Hackett, who stopped in on the show as well. Just coming off of him and Jaleel having a great fight on Zuffa Boxing last night, right? Yes. So that was great that he was even willing to bring us into his world. He was at the airport getting ready to get on an airplane, and he stopped by and here to show love to the community that supports him, because we definitely support him. And you guys pop in tomorrow. We got Robert Merriweather III popping up on the show. It's going to be great to get some introspect on him as a fighter. This is a young talent, man, educated young brother, man, comes from some good cloth. Him and his father may be on the show as well, because I saw he was on the show with Ness this morning. So I don't know, maybe the father might come by as well. That'll be awesome. Looking forward to other interviews that we're going to have coming into here. Like I said, 2026, we're rolling this out. Super engagement, man, with the boxing space. Super engagement. I would have loved to talk to a lot of you guys. Pop in tomorrow if there's time. I'll open the panel up potentially a little bit. The phone lines, we'll see. That's what I'm saying.
When we got Coach Bernard Hackett popping in, we'll see. And like you said, Clay, you're trying to. There's other shows that do that, right? But we're trying to, this show every once in a while you can, but for the most part, it's going to be very heavy quality content of boxing news and current relative boxing things happening, right? Not hypo theories, but actual relevancy that's happening in the space of boxing. And before you say you close out, Clay, again, everyone, you guys want to check out some fashion brand, please check out HERN.project. Check out this nice little new design that he just did.
I like that too.
Yeah, right.
I like it too.
Yeah, you both do. Check it out. HERN.project. Hern.project.
Word up. Listen, man. Salute.
Yeah, man. It is what it is, man. Thank you guys. Until the next one. By the way, I'll announce that tomorrow. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's your boy Rain. It's that ATP Combat Media Show. Shout out to my co-host Ray Davis, co-host Angela Reyes. You guys have that. I
know. Just say Ray and Ray, bro.
Ray and Ray. Ray and Ray. Appreciate you guys, man. We'll be back on tomorrow. Be here. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. To the next one. At this point, we out.
Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitting for it, cause you all cap like. Hold up, I shoot my shot. Wait, hold up. I'm really about to run this go up. You know it's all net when it go up.